following podcast contains strong language, graphic violence, a flying man, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. Is that how you get your warped brain gets its kicks, John? Plotting the death of innocent people?
Causing the death of innocent people.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Sounds like Cookie Monster to me.
Welcome, everybody, to the 4 a.m. podcast, the podcast about movies, snacks, and all things nerdy. I'm Rob Man.
I am one of the many people standing idly by while Lois dangles over the edge.
Flex Dushore.
Yeah, that I can't top that. That was great.
Come, son of Jarrell, kneel before Joe.
Whoa.
I will kill him! Oh, that was the other one. That was Man of Steel. Anyway, guys, we watched Superman.
Bum, 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 bum.
Like legit, I think the first superhero movie as we would consider superhero movies today.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
This is like the originator.
Yeah, I mean, there were superhero movies before this, but this is like the modern superhero movie.
Yeah.
The
The
first
mold.
one. Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Who's seen this before?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
I mean, so I've seen it before, but I didn't remember a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the movie I didn't remember.
No, it's been 30 years since I
Yeah.
watched it.
Yeah, it's pretty much like
Old.
the end and the part with like the interview, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember the planet part, or is that what you?
That's
meant
the
by
end, yeah.
That's the end.
Okay.
Yeah. And the baby dick. Anyway,
I didn't remember the baby dick.
no, I have a poster.
I do remember the baby dick.
I don't want to remember the baby dick.
So yeah, Superman 1978 was directed by Richard Donner. Apparently Steven Spielberg was offered to direct.
Of course he was.
But the producers did not like the salary that he asked for. I guess David Prowse, a.k.a. Darth Vader, supervised Christopher Reeve's bodybuilding regime, which is why he was kind of doughy, I'm assuming.
Oh, but what movie did Spielberg end up directing instead?
Well, he did Jaws.
He did a
At
little
this time.
little film called Jaws.
I think
So-
he's okay with that decision.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I don't think either direction this movie would have been. I don't know if it would have been any better.
You could have had anyone
You know what we
direct
got?
this, and
Yeah.
I don't think it would have made a difference.
It was done by a story by, I noticed, Mario Puzo in the beginning credits. For those unaware, Mario Puzo is the author of the Godfather series of books, which is maybe why Lois had such a horrifying death at the end. Let's see.
She got better.
Yeah, Gene Hackman refused to shave his head or even cut off his mustache to play Lex Luthor. Okay. Wait, did he have a mustache in this?
Nope.
No.
No, read the next line's pretty funny.
Okay, all right. Before Richard Donner and Hackman met face to face, Donner proposed to Hackman that if he would shave his mustache, Donner would shave his too, and Hackman agreed. Okay, I thought they just CGI'd it out like they did with Superman.
Yeah.
But
Donner didn't have a mustache and wore a fake one to their first meeting.
Wow.
Okay.
you slide
You
dog.
son of a bitch. Donner, you son of a bitch. Marlon Brando refused to memorize most of his lines in advance. Yes, I did know that.
Of course. Classic Brando.
In the scene where he puts the infant into the skate pod, he was actually reading his lines from the diaper of the baby.
Wow.
So he was looking at that baby real weird.
Yeah.
And apparently in Roger Moore's autobiography, he says he witnessed Christopher Reeve walking through Pinewood Studios in full Superman costume. And people noticed when he did the same thing dressed as Clark Kent, no one paid any attention. I mean, yeah, it's not really...
I mean, a lot of people are going to notice a 6'4" dude in a Superman costume.
Yeah, in bright red, primary red and primary blue.
Yeah.
Like,
with that prime rib hanging out the front.
If you're in a suit,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so it's the suits.
Who wants to take a smack at the budget for this movie?
78.
oof.
That's rough.
I think I did catch it when Tony was posting, so I will abstain.
Okay.
It's probably something real low, like 5 or 6 million. So I'll go with 5,500,000.
I don't know. I'll bump it to 10 just for shits.
Okay. Joe was right, but with the wrong decimal point. It was actually 55 million.
55 million?
55 million is the
Wow.
estimated budget for the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I had to make him fly.
There's
Destroy-
fucking wires and a
destroy
green
California.
screen.
Not only did they have to make them fly, they had to pay all of the geographers to be like, we're not going to pay attention to the proximity of the landmarks displayed in this.
I guess.
Be okay.
I mean, there were a lot of models that got destroyed.
They did, yeah, they
There
did
were a
blow
lot of
up,
models.
blow
Might
up
have
a
been
bunch of
$55
models.
million worth of models. That's true.
It's just someone's train set.
Yeah.
Should have had Michael Bay direct this.
Who wants to guess what it made?
Like-
Again, abstain.
Like all of the money. Like a moon made of money that Superman pushed into Earth's orbit.
That's no moon. That's
Let's just
moolah.
go at like 150 million.
Okay.
In
John.
1978, that's a huge haul.
And it costs 55. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll bump it to 200.
Okay. It was 300 million was the estimated box office drag in.
Which in today's currency, I think that would be over $1 billion.
Probably, yeah. It would probably would have hit the $1 billion mark these days. Yeah. So who's in this $55 million?
According to the credits, the top billing goes to Marlon Brando.
Well, I'm sure he was like, put me in first or I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't know why Marlon Brando sounds like Donald Trump for some
I
reason.
mean, in lieu of participating, he talked to a puppet. And then got naked from the waist down.
Again.
Again, yeah. So, yeah, it was Marlon Brando as Jor-El, and then Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Then the movie, after the title and like a bunch of other shit, is like, oh yeah, this is Christopher Reeve guy there
Yeah,
too.
he's in this.
I don't know. He's a Superman, Clark Kent. Who cares? And then like a bunch of credits go by, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Margot Kidder's here. Margot Kidder is here too,
Just kidding.
as Lois Lane." Very very weird cast placement.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, those. I think that's all that's really worth mentioning.
Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate. There's not really. I mean, there's a lot of people.
Special
in
guest
this,
appearance by Cliff.
Yeah, yeah. John
John
Ratzenberger
Ratzenberger.
was in this for a hot second. But that's, I mean, no, yeah, that's anybody of relevance. But let's get sidetracked with a quick test kitchen, guys.
Oh yeah.
I was at Target today, and I found these Reese's Crispy Crunchy bars on clearance. And I don't know that I've ever seen them before.
They just went straight to clearance.
Straight to clearance, I guess. I also
Straight to
don't
home
know
video
if we've
edition.
ever had them on the podcast before.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
This looks
either,
like it
but
wants to be a Butterfinger.
It does look like it wants to be a Butterfinger. Go
That
ahead.
looks
Wow.
like a dookie.
It does.
That
It looks like a
looks phallic.
just a stick of brown. Yeah, it does
This
have
is
that
a substantial candy bar.
Butterfinger appearance to it.
It is a
yeah.
substantial candy bar.
It claims that it is chocolate, peanut butter, crispy peanut butter candy, and peanuts. And we're just gonna go ahead and
Away we go.
jump right in, I guess.
I mean, that's probably better than a Butterfinger.
It's definitely better
but
than a
that's not
Butterfinger.
hard.
It's not, but it's not bad.
No.
Like the Crispies don't like hurt my mouth to bite into.
I'd rather have a
They
Snickers.
still don't need to be there.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'd take a Snickers over this
Yeah.
any day.
Yeah. It's not like high tier, but it's better than a Butterfinger.
Nobody let her better lay a finger on my Butterfinger because it's awful.
I'd give this a C.
I'd say C minus.
I don't know if it's that bad. Like, it's still Reese's.
Yeah, but like, if you're gonna do Reese's, even coming from me, I'd rather have a cup. Like this is
Yeah, this
kind of insulting to the Reese's name.
I'm not a fan, but it's not like it's not bothering me.
I'm gonna have no
so,
issue finishing it.
Yeah. So it's still in the C range, but I think I might go with Brick for the C minus.
But yeah, even on clearance, I won't buy any more.
Like the crunchies have a very weird texture. It's almost like they're trying to be a wafer, but it feels too much like I'm eating fiberglass.
Yeah,
I
no,
will-
it's that same thing that's
I
in the
will say,
Butterfinger.
Yeah,
Oh.
if this was Kit Kat wafers in the
Oh.
middle of this,
Yeah.
this would be like probably top tier candy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They
what
do
you're
make
trying-
one that is basically that.
Well, they have a peanut butter Kit Kat. Yeah.
Like,
No, there's Reese's
Oh, Reese's sticks.
sticks.
Those are delicious.
Really
yeah.
good, yeah.
like legit. I like the amount of chocolate here. I like the volume of this thing. It's got like actual chunks of peanut, but that crispy stuff, yeah. Should-
What about the girth?
girth, the length, the depth, the height,
The
touch,
volume.
the feel, the magic?
I did on the last little, like, just cleaning the remnants from my mouth, I did get a bit of a pinchy poke from the Butterfinger, like, had formed a sharp edge. So that is still present, the threat of mouth trauma. That you
That's
take
always,
whatever you eat a
that's always
Butterfinger.
present at the 4-Amp podcast.
There's some mouth drama for you right there.
Yeah, speaking of mouth trauma, let's start talking about Superman. Yeah.
We see at the beginning of this a black and white old timey little picture here of or video of June 1938 Action Comet
Yeah,
comics.
I did not remember any part of this about,
Yeah. See
about
the-
the original.
the Daily Planet. And you're like, oh, you know, pretty cool. Superman back in the day. You know, the first like big superhero. And then you know, the credits start building up. And you know, like we see Marlon Brando, we see Gene Hackman, and then the Superman logo flies in. And I gotta say, this theme, I forgot how good the Superman theme is.
How John Williamsy it is.
Yeah, I mean, but this is like how John Williams became the
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the John Williams meme.
It is a Star. It is a Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
Star Wars starts playing.
John
And while-
Williams.
Yeah, while I will take you know, Star Wars over this one, this is still a really good theme.
It did have nice swooshy sounds.
And I'll say I won't go into the ending yet, but the you know, at the end where some really stupid shit happens in fast sequence, like just a bunch of dumb. This theme is a nice little band-aid at the end of it. It's kind of like, you know, when you watch any of the Star Wars movies that aren't the original trilogy, and it ends, and you get the and you're like, all right, well, I guess that movie sucked, but I'm not mad anymore.
Yeah, you're like,
It's a hypnosis thing.
they played.
Oh,
the
that's right.
dog.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would only last for so long.
Yeah.
yeah, no, just till you're out of the theater.
And then you're like, wait a minute.
Yep.
I feel dirty.
And like most movies from the 70s, the credits sure do overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
We get a lot of credits.
But it's. I mean, it's not like the 50s and shit where you're getting literally the entire credits at the beginning
Yeah.
of the movie.
Well, this one, you're getting like one line of credits whooshing in.
That's true.
Slowly whooshing.
Yeah.
They are just hanging out like,
Yep.
hey,
I don't know
read the name, asshole.
if this is the origin of the credits whooshing at you, if that, like, this was the first time that happened, so
When
maybe
did
this
this-
is cool.
When did this come out?
78.
Didn't Star Wars come out before this?
Wasn't
Star Wars
79?
Yeah, I think they're 79.
Oh.
Possibly 78. But Star Wars doesn't even have whooshy credits.
Yeah, no.
No,
got
but it's
text
got the
scroll.
opening, like,
The scroll.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier.
It might have been 77.
Yeah, I thought New Hope was 77.
Well, isn't it every 3 years and like Empire's 80? Oh, wait, no, Jedi's 81, right?
New Hope was 77.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, but yeah. But
Even
this-
still, credits didn't whoosh.
Right, no whooshing. No. There was no whooshing involved.
They didn't leave trails through the, you know, chemtrails
Yeah.
through the sky.
Chemtrails.
They did, actually. Their chemtrail would be long lasting and quite toxic, as it turns out.
That's Clark Kent gas.
So here comes the sun. Just this big old red sun, you know, just sneaking up on the planet Krypton.
Sneaking up, yeah.
That
And,
sun has an agenda.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
It's like, I'm going to get you. Also, by sun standards, very tiny.
yeah, actually. Well, I mean, I guess, like, I think it is a white dwarf stage before it goes to supernova.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm so dense.
Yeah. Here comes the sun, and you're fucked.
So, yeah. You know, we cut to the Krypton dome, and it's just the world where everything's white. Like, they they haven't invented colors on
Apparently
Krypton.
everything's under one dome.
Yeah. And we're witnessing the trial of General Zod and his two companions. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know they set up the sequel already.
But I was thinking, wait, this is the movie they're in?
Yeah.
I got completely confused.
I'm like, that's pretty awesome, In the sense of this movie, you're like, why the fuck are they here? It's
Right.
good they did it in the beginning because you'll forget by the
It's
end.
some weird ass sequel baiting.
Yeah.
I do like how one of the three that they've got on trial is clearly not an actual person.
No, that was a guy.
What?
That was a guy?
Yeah, that is a man.
That's a
Did
man.
he have like inches of freaking makeup on him?
No.
No,
He did
He
not
just has
look
an-
human.
He has an unfortunate
Who played that guy,
genetic
actually?
condition.
I forget. Yeah.
He's like the guy that played Jaws in
Yeah.
Well, it was
James
just like
Bond.
his
Was
it Richard
skin, and
Kiel?
he
No.
just looked,
Richard Kiel, I think, is Jaws.
He looks synthetic.
Let's see.
And all he ever says is, so it's their trial for, they've committed insurrection. They caused a Capitol Dome riot.
Oh, Jack O'Halloran.
And the Marlon Brando's like, reading them the riot act. He's like, this guy is just a beast. This woman hates everything. And then Zod, he's a horrible fuck. Committed some insurrection. And Zod's like, join me. One way or another, you'll join me. Kneel before Zod. Blah, blah, blah.
Like,
And,
aside from that part, I was entertained to find out later the insurrection they were effectively planning was like leaving a planet that was about to be destroyed by its sun.
Yeah.
I'm like, advanced civilization. I could see where this is headed.
You know how advanced the civilization is, Brick? They can restrain 3 people with 2 hula hoops.
That's right.
It was very advanced.
I will say it's cool, like how they have the 2 hula hoops
Oh, yeah.
spinning. That's neat looking.
Not only that, but like that's one hell of a jail cell.
Yeah, but like I feel like if you have to like have a 2 hula hoop jail cell, you really should show what that will do to
Oh
somebody.
no, I mean
But here's
like
the thing.
after their sentencing, that jail.
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. They just tell them that it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna burn. It burns so bad. It hurts. Starts at your dick
It's the herpes rings.
So
and/or boobs, man.
So the council rules that they're guilty, but it's Jor-El here, Marlon Brando's final decision, and he never really says. He's just like, you know what? I'll just open up the
Just gonna
dome,
fuck off
and
for a
this
minute.
passing random cellophane diamond will just come by and swoop you up.
Have fun. I'm sending you to Paper Mario World.
Yeah.
to the Phantom
I'm-
Zone.
Guess
I'm
what?
pretty
You're
sure-
2-dimensional now.
I'm pretty sure we saw this in what was it, Warlock 3, where he's in the funhouse and the glass.
And the hardest thing to believe is that this is not the shittiest special effects you're going to see in this film.
Yeah, I guess they're gone now, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
they're just floating away,
that happened.
screaming into the void.
So what you call it now? It just cuts to a different meeting of the Krypton Council, and everyone's wearing tinfoil, and like
fucking-
the white balance is
It's
just
a
cranked all the
commercial
way up.
for Ultra Tide with Chloroblast whiteness enhancer.
Yeah.
Get
Like-
your whitest whites.
As far as practical effects are concerned, like this did remind me of the original Tron. And I did actually appreciate the like.
That's bad.
No, the original Tron for practical effects was pretty cool.
Except for the glowing nonsense.
No, I kind of dug it. It was
In the setting of Tron, it made sense.
yeah. Well, this is just like
That sounded
weird
not
and
like a fart joke.
otherworldly.
Are you
It's
okay?
something about the white.
That was
I
just
was
my
like,
trumpet.
It's okay. You know, I dug
Yeah.
it.
Trumpet.
So, Krypton, who talks about Earth like they're so primitive, they're over here like, well, we can't figure out how to filter out the white balance,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or that our sun is
but
actually going to
Brando's like,
explode.
hey, did anybody notice the sun is like 11 feet
Yeah.
away from us?
Yeah, the planet's going to explode in like 3 days, guys.
We've evolved
Nah.
past color.
And they're just like,
We've
no,
evolved
the
as
planet
science.
is just shifting its
Yeah,
orbit.
yeah.
Because
Krypton is
planets
simply
do
shifting its
that.
orbit
They just
into the
shift their
fucking
orbit.
sun.
It's shifting that way.
Yeah.
It's
like-
shifting in all directions
It's
at
like-
great
yeah.
speed.
It's sprinting
So
towards a photo finish.
yeah, and you're yelling at Marlon Brando. Why didn't you just say and we should evacuate because the planet's shifting its fucking orbit. That's terrible too.
Yeah, so like, don't ever say anything.
Yeah.
Fucking Alex
I also-
Jones over here.
I like too that they're basically. He says, "Yeah, my wife and I will not leave Krypton,"
Yeah,
which implies that
doesn't want to cause a panic.
to leave Krypton would be an act of insurrection. I'm like, how could this civilization have lasted more than a few years?
But
Like,
also, if he leaves, he's gone.
yes,
So
Yeah, I'd be like,
okay.
You know what?
exactly.
Why don't we just have a police chase in my final few minutes here?
Yeah.
What do I have to lose? Like,
Exactly.
Because the house of Jor-El never lies.
that's true.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
go with that. Sure.
Right, but he didn't have to agree to stay on Krypton.
Well, I think he did, or they were going to like
Yeah,
kick him.
they were
going to
stick him in a cellophane diamond.
That's right. And he would
which
have
honestly would have been better.
yeah, he would have
but-
survived. So apparently would have been
Phantom
fine.
Zone.
He would have ended up on Earth later. About 2 or 3 years.
All right, so yeah, they're like, we've had enough of your shit, Jor-El. Get out of here. You can't leave. He's like, all right, but I didn't say anything about my kid.
That's right.
I'm gonna go load this baby Kal-El into this crystal urchin I have in my
It's a
house.
fucking Christmas tree topper.
Yeah, it's Christmas tree topper.
I was looking at this whole thing. I'm like, if that thing explodes, there's no way this baby is going to escape not skewered a billion different ways.
He'll be fine.
Well, he's like, he's just saying a bunch of nonsense, like his dense molecular structure will make him invulnerable, and I'm like, just stop talking.
But also give him his own gravity well.
And
Don't forget all the Jesus references, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then we'll
You'll die for their sins one day.
give him a crystal and a blanket.
A J.O. crystal.
Yep.
Here's a blanket.
Mom doesn't even get to talk or say goodbye to her son.
fuck her.
Nah, she's just
She's like, he'll be alone. He'll be different.
yeah.
Dad's just like, he'll be fine.
He'll
he's,
be
a, he's a
fine.
man.
He'll be
be
different,
fine.
but he'll be a god, you know.
He'll be fine, just like our planet will be.
Be the cool kind of different.
She's
Emotional
over-
isolation, whatever.
She's over in the corner, like, you didn't even put any food in there.
See, ladies, this is the problem with the patriarchy.
I don't know
it
if
leads
that-
to exploding planets.
That's right, ladies. Down with the patriarchy.
I don't know if that urchin
got
has any
this.
kind of waste extraction system either.
No, I mean that's going to keep him warm in space.
Yeah, no, he's going to choke to death on the fumes of his own piss. But
That's what
Roll
that's what took that thing down eventually. It was just the ammonia fumes.
anyway,
Oh, that's why it was crystal. It's like cat litter.
Yeah.
It absorbs the odor.
so what you call it? Then he for whatever reason he throws a green crystal in there. We're
Yeah,
like, sure,
just to
yeah.
keep him humble.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, time to send the baby on his way with his majestic send-off. Mom hasn't said shit for like 10 minutes. And Marlon Brando is just reading his lines off a diaper. He's looking at the kid like, I can't see him. His fine print, hard to see. And then
Our child
The building's like
Yeah.
falling apart.
Did it-
Slowly, thing is
The
slowly
mom looks
rising up.
super familiar.
he's
to
gonna
me.
be ultra
Pun intended.
absorbent.
yeah, and then the whatchamacallit, like he's like, fuck it, I better not open the launch bay doors. We're not gonna need them anymore.
Nah.
Just slams through the ceiling.
It's like glass.
Wonka Vader,
Shatter
that
that
big.
Well, at
glass
that point,
ceiling, Sonny.
there wasn't
Yeah, exactly.
time to open the fucking
Yeah,
doors.
screw it. He's like, we don't need them anymore.
If I open the door, the sun will come in.
All right. So now the sun shows up, and Krypton
Avon calling.
goes from white to red, and glitter is shooting everywhere. and like,
Nobody noticed this? Nobody noticed.
yeah, like
Rob, it's just shifting its orbit.
It would
just
literally-
a little bit.
it would be the entire sky.
It's
Like
just-
there would be
no,
nowhere
the
you
sun's-
could look
The
that
sun's
wasn't
up there with
sun.
a little bush in front of its face.
Yeah.
Just give it time. It'll take care of itself. It'll all work out
yeah,
in the
it's
end.
just shifting its
It's
orbit.
just shifting its orbit. Some things,
just-
might move around. Don't
passing,
worry.
We're just passing a little close. We're,
Just a little,
We're gonna be a little warmer.
You know,
So
we've got our glowing white
Mm-hmm.
outfits. They reflect the heat.
the scientists that we paid to support us through our next election cycle have agreed
Yeah.
that
Neil
this is
deGrasse
okay.
Tyson said it was fine.
no, the scientists that would have backed Jor-El up have all left.
Neil deGrasse Tyson would have been like, "No, you are completely fucked."
Nah. He's a
So
fucking pretend scientist. It would have been him and Bill Nye just standing there like, yeah, you're fine. The sun doesn't actually exist. Did you know that?
so
We're actually not here.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's all an illusion.
so J.J. Abrams shakes the shit out of the set, and people are throwing glitter everywhere.
Oh my god.
And then like
It's
some
like a rave.
some like Star Trek quality like styrofoam crystals fall on some people. And then the sun just explodes, just kaboomers, right like
Yeah.
the Death Star.
Yeah.
Both the sun and the planet blow up, and
Science note: that is not how a supernova looks.
no,
It's not Earth. Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
planet crashed into the sun's thermal exhaust port.
Also, yeah. Also, if the sun were that close to the planet, everyone would have been dead a long
Oh, yeah.
time
Yeah.
ago. So
Oh, yeah.
science not really rocking here. We're just
So-
we're just
No, this
free
movie
flowing.
is not interested
We're
in
just free
facts.
flow.
So
You will believe a man can fly
No, I won't.
because you've already been fed the bullshit that the sun can be 2 feet away from your house.
So now we watch a spaceborne glowing white sea urchin travel through the 6 galaxies on the way to Earth.
Yeah, this kid's just he's getting homeschooled here.
Does anybody know why there was a period where it was just like, I'm just going to go pass through some fire? Why was there just random
space
fire
effects.
in the
Space
space?
fire.
Space effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
watch the Willy Wonka boat ride. That's pretty much what this
Oh,
is.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good stuff.
So
Briggs just sitting there with his pecker in his hand while the chicken gets his head cut off. Like, yeah, man, I'm ready for it. Give me that.
No, it's the
chocolate
way that they
fountain."
did that scene because they didn't tell the other actors. They were just like, go do some spooky shit.
That's not-
Fantastic.
So another thing with this movie, I don't understand. It's sort of implies that he is taught the entire history and knowledge of the Kryptonian people.
Yeah.
On
And
the way,
and the 24 known
yeah,
galaxies.
on the way here.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's partly implanting it into like
Yeah.
his subconscious, and then they finish
Yep.
when he builds the Fortress of Solitude.
But Superman knows all of that shit. Like he just has that in his repertoire.
Yeah.
Okay, that leads to a lot of questions. A lot of questions.
Yep.
There will be no answers.
Yeah.
But you will believe a man can fly.
I will believe a man can fly on
Yeah.
wires.
So it'd be fucking insane, like interacting with normal society after
Yes,
that.
he would.
Anyway, so we now cut to the Kent family is driving along, and just see a droopy now the urchin is kind of become more like a sperm cell because of the atmospheric entry.
Yeah, apparently flying 4 feet past a sun and through the atmosphere of Krypton didn't do anything to this ship.
No.
But entering Earth's atmosphere just burned it all to shit.
Earth's atmosphere will sustain him.
Which means
It'll nourish him.
which means it's many times weaker than the atmosphere on the planet that he came from.
Yep.
All of those
Science.
spikes on the urchin
Melted
filled with piss.
Oh, is that
Just the ammonia and other burnable,
He just melted away.
dried,
Just
like
the
just the
acidic piss.
and poop and
Yeah.
flammable materials.
Probably pretty terrible too, since that kid was not eating or drinking anything the entire time.
Superman, where did you come
Crystals.
from?
They fed him crystals.
Fed on crystals.
Well,
okay.
I crash landed on
So
Earth.
this kid's living on crystal light.
I was transported here in my dung crystal.
That's a weird thing to consider for a second. If I could just put this on pause, let's go into a sort of fat chat
He
realm
was
here.
fed information.
Superman, with his super digestive tract and invincible teeth, can really eat whatever he wants,
Yeah.
and it probably won't even hurt.
So
Like
he was-
like an
he-
aircraft.
He read the crystal
Yeah.
and then he ate it, I guess.
But it makes me wonder, like, what kind of stuff could Superman eat that would,
Planets.
would there be anything that
Anything he wants except kryptonite.
literally anything? So I wonder if there's something he has that it's like his favorite that
Is not normally digestible. by
exactly. That
human
like people would be like, "What are you doing?"
Butterfingers.
You know what? So I would,
Butterfingers, yeah.
I would love for our listening audience to pitch in here and let us know what you think Superman's favorite food is. Or non-food. Favorite thing to put in his mouth and chew on.
You
Yeah.
know what it is? Lois Lane. Oh.
Those cigarette-shaped nips of hers.
All right, so
Sausage memories.
Yeah, speaking of sausage,
all right, so this urchin-shaped sperm cell slams into the earth and impregnates it,
yeah,
and the earth gives birth to this
2 and 8 year old.
Yeah, this is an old kid. This is
a way too old kid.
yeah.
He's like 4.
But either way, it's too old for his winking log.
Yeah,
to
we
be out.
didn't need to see his
No.
super wang.
School-aged youngster,
Yeah,
not a baby.
He's
child.
definitely like a preschooler. Yeah.
He's the rapist.
So, yeah, the Kent family, they're driving along in their Ford shitbox, and Papa Kent here has to roll down the window to reach out to open his door to get out, and then the two of them come walking over. Yeah, and there's just this naked baby smiling at him. Well, it's naked 4-year-old.
Oh god, this
Yeah.
naked child.
Crawling out of a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know 1978 was a different time, but I'm just like, no,
Still,
no,
it lingered.
yeah.
Wasn't 1978 where Roswell was highly believed by a bunch of people?
I think Roswell was the 50s, right?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
okay.
57 or something
Yeah.
like that.
So anyway, so they wrap him up in the blanket that he was, he was in the pod or whatever, and Martha's immediately like, "This is ours."
Yeah, this
by right of finders
My
keepers.
barren womb.
yeah,
yeah.
this
That is
claims
effectively
this as
what
my
she said.
own.
Yeah.
quote unquote child.
Yep. And Mr. Kent here is just like, well, I guess I ain't stopping you.
No, he's like, we need to find who
Yeah.
this child's rightful parents
Martha's
She
like,
looks at
I
the-
found
came
him.
out of a goddamn
Yeah.
meteor.
She looks at the crater and she's like, they ain't nowhere around here.
Look at this child's monobrow.
Yeah.
God tried to kill this boy. We need to take him in.
He was an odd looking little boy.
Yeah. And he's got the strength to match.
So yeah, trying to change the tire on the truck. Fucking naked baby here just grabs the front of the truck, lifts it up, just grins at him like an idiot. And
Now, I like what you said before.
Yeah.
Him interacting with anybody on this planet with all that knowledge in his head.
Yeah.
He would be totally dysfunctional. Imagine how he would have reacted. Seeing them driving in what they were driving in.
yep.
Knowing what that was doing to the planet. Knowing how much more efficient he could make that
Yeah.
transportation. Seeing that he has a
Yeah,
heart problem
I'm pretty
because
sure
he
that's
has
what,
X-ray
that's
vision.
what the John Kent Superman is about.
Yeah, and also,
You should
with
be driving an EV, sir.
but what it would do to the Superman mythos, because if that is actually part of the Superman mythos in the comics, but it's you could help the planet so much more by just being a scientist than being a superhero, much like Tony Stark or
he's not,
Batman.
But
or-
he's not allowed to interfere in human history.
But he does all
But
the
that's-
fucking
Yes,
time.
That's history.
But couldn't he just suck in all the smog and shit and just digest it?
But
He could
did
do that too, yeah.
He did say history, not future.
That's
Yeah.
what was implied by human history in their development.
Oh, so that imagine that though. All these. There's a million problems you can solve, but your loyalty to your dead dad
Yeah.
is preventing
It's like
you
the
A
from
prime
doing
thousand
directive.
years
anything.
ago.
The prime
Yeah.
directive from Star Trek, where they're like, you can't interfere in the evolution of this world / species.
Yeah.
But you have to be marooned
Just
there.
because, yeah,
Yep.
you could help them join the Federation, but no, they have to get there on their own. Like, what the fuck is that?
If they
about?
survive.
Take only photos, leave only footprints, guys. Okay.
So
Okay.
now we cut to it's high school football time, and Clark gets an invite from this girl Lana. Was that his Smallville girlfriend? Did he have a?
Sort
Lana
of,
Lang,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I thought I
That
remembered
was
a
the
Lana.
Smallville version
yeah.
of Lois.
I don't give a shit about anything that happened in Smallville, so I've never watched.
I've never seen Smallville. I just
Yeah.
know from the comics.
I mean, I don't give a crap about Superman, all
yeah.
full stop, other than the fact that he was the superhero and, the prototypical,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one that made the mold.
You like the results,
I
not
mean,
Yeah.
the
necessarily the
animated
origin.
series is pretty cool.
All right, so there's this guy, the alpha Brad shows up being a dick. He's like, well, these helmets got to get stacked, but I knocked them over. And oh no, it wouldn't just take you 20 seconds to, put them back. But it's like him and like some other guy and like 5 girls cram into this like wood paneled roadster and go speeding off to listen to records. These crazy kids.
Balling out, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like,
You can get that many girls in your car.
yeah, Clark's not fitting in that car, even if he could go.
No.
Like, he would have to just hang on
That's
to
3
the
girls for every boy.
Yeah. 3 girls for her.
I got a dick in 2 hands, man.
All right, so, I gotta say,
Forget your mouth. You
while
get 4
Brad-
in there.
while Brad sucks, like,
Timing.
the wood paneling on his car is pretty awesome. Clark, when they drive off out of frustration, he grabs a football and just punts it into orbit. It's like,
Yeah, he killed someone on another
Yeah.
continent.
But in reality, like, wouldn't the football have just exploded when he
Yes.
kicked it?
It's-
Probably.
That's what happened to the
Yeah.
Patriots.
Deflate gate.
Rob's leaving.
Probably if he imparted exit velocity on it, yeah, I'd imagine. And he now just goes, he quote unquote runs. He moves his legs in a cartoony manner to outrun a locomotive. And
People can see him.
yeah, oh, he doesn't,
They're
yeah.
just watching him.
Yep, he's just showing off. But the way they chose to do the effect is weird. Because I would think, even in 1978, you could just do a composite where you could have him running sped up. And I guess they're trying to imply that his stride is greater or something, but like, why didn't they just, have him running in fast forward that distance that the train went and then composite that over the train so it looked like he was outrunning the train?
Then they couldn't showboat all his facial emotions of how much.
They could have done a
They could have
zoom
cut,
on it.
yeah, they could
How
have cut
much
to his
fun he's
face
having.
like they
will-
did anyway.
You will not believe a man can run.
Yeah, I didn't believe he outran a train here.
You know what? It would be interesting, though, if somebody did do a recording of somebody running and then sped it up as fast as he would have had to have moved his legs to see if you could even make out anything more than a blur of a biped.
Now, this did look goofy as hell. But I'm trying to think of a time where super fast running in a movie didn't look goofy as hell. I don't think they've managed to figure it out to this day.
Well, I think it will look goofy as hell no matter how you do it. But like, I prefer somebody, just moving real quick as opposed to.
I would rather
should
just
be
have
just
a
a
blur.
blur.
Yeah, I would much rather have that. But they got to show the
Isn't that
actor
what they
and
do
all
with the flash effectively? They blur his lower half and then put like a streak behind him or something like that.
that. I have not seen the Flash
Well, I think
movie. But
in like the 90s Flash show, I think they just played him fast.
yeah, they just sped it
Oh,
up. I
okay.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it really showed him like face cam running.
So
Yeah, I don't remember what they did in Justice League. Like I think in Justice
In
League,
Justice it was
all the
it was Snyder, so I think they just
all
slowed
it was
everything
slow
else
motion for
around.
everything.
Yeah, it just slowed everything
If he was
down.
doing something super, it was slow motion.
Like, like water waving his arms and.
it probably did like, the new fast motion trend that I hate where like Quicksilver where, everyone's just standing still. And,
Yeah, that's what exactly.
Yeah, I
what
think
it
that's
was.
normal
yeah.
speed.
Everything is in slow motion, but him.
Yeah, and he gets to just completely ignore laws of physics and inertia and move.
Well,
like a
That's the
normal
Flash
person.
Force.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
the whole thing with
That's
like,
the lazy
super
writing of
speed
the
and
Speed Force.
Super
It's the
strength.
lazy writing of DC Comics.
I mean, yeah, because Superman has the same thing, and
yeah.
I mentioned this while we were watching the movie. In the comics, Superman has like a force field around him that he can extend to other people, and
I like that in the sense that at least explains how he can do all the bullshit that he does with his super strength.
right, and why his suit never gets
It
destroyed.
is still
and
just a
all this other
thinly veiled, like, it's a bullshit field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
at least
just-
they
it's
acknowledged that
Yeah.
that had to happen.
It's a comic. Sit down, nerd. Just read
I
the
refuse.
comic. Just read the comic.
That's why I don't read the comics. All right, so now he outruns the train. He runs in front of the train like an irresponsible little prick. But I mean, he's in his teenage years. He's figured out his powers.
If he misjudged that time, he would have killed everyone on that train.
Yeah,
he still probably gave the conductor a heart attack.
Yeah,
like
I mean, at the bare minimum, the train's gonna like knock him into the next county.
He'll give somebody.
But chances are he's just gonna derail the fucking thing and like in Hancock and just cause a huge problem.
Can I do that?
So he now goes. Well, he meets Brad and at his house because Brad's driving by that, I guess, and everyone else. And they're like, "Look, it's Clark. How did he get here?" And they're like, "He's like, I ran." And they're like, "I knew he was an odd duck." Or
okay, that explains it.
They just drive off.
Quack quack, Mr. Dumbass.
Yeah. So then Jonathan Kent's in front of the like he's fixing his shitty truck.
He's
or whatever.
milking his tractor.
Yeah. It's the same truck from like when they found Clark years ago. And he's like, you can't, he's like, "Dad, I could score a touchdown every time." He's like, "That's not what you were here for. You're put here for a purpose. You can do great things, but
you were supposed to be a dentist."
Yeah, do actual great things. Don't like score a touchdown in fucking
or with girls.
Smallville High School.
But if I get caught in a tornado, so help me, you do not help me.
Do not help. No.
I'll give you a whipping, son.
So then Clark's like, "Come on, Dad, I'll race you. Come on, run."
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Dad runs 25 feet and dies.
I don't even think he runs. I don't think he starts running.
He basically, he
power walks.
He power walks about 10 steps.
He's like,
and then he's just like,
"Oh no.
Oh, dang." And falls over.
So effectively, Clark killed his foster dad.
Yeah.
He killed his dad.
Well,
And couldn't
I'm
save him.
pretty sure the breakfast of bacon and wild turkey killed his dad.
Hey. There's plenty of guys out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is how it ends for them.
Yeah.
Well, actually, both of the world's oldest cats had bacon, eggs, and coffee for breakfast. It's true.
They also did not have stressful jobs or have to do anything other
Yes.
than lay around all day.
Yes.
So cut to the funeral. There's like two other people there, whatever. Funeral ends. Clark wakes up at night and he like wanders around and finds the in the barn. He finds the green crystal.
Well, first he has this comment to his mom. "I couldn't do anything. All this power and I couldn't do anything."
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, couldn't or didn't?
Yeah.
Be like, "Clark, couldn't you hear his heartbeat?
Couldn't you rush him to the hospital?
Yeah,
Couldn't you
use that
give him
super speed
CPR?
running.
Couldn't you
You tried?"
flick him in the chest and get
Yeah.
his heart going?
With all the science you know from the 24 known galaxies.
He doesn't know it yet, though. It's in his head, but it's not accessible.
All right. So
Just shove a crystal in him. It'll be
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So he's got this crystal. He tells his mom, like, "I gotta leave.
Green glowing dildo.
I gotta go figure out what this does."
I gotta charge it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm going north."
I was thinking, he's in the prairie. North is Canada. That's not where this is supposed to take place. And I was like, oh, yeah, this part.
So
I'm gonna be
More
a
north
dentist.
than Canada.
at this point,
He's going to be Santa
it still
Claus.
seems like he can't fly. So maybe he walked in the winter. He just walked from Canada to the Arctic. I don't know.
He speed ran up there.
Speed ran across the
ran.
water. Sure.
Increase the global temperature. But...
And he's just like, he comes across this like Arctic ice field. He's like, "Yeah, this is good, whatever." Just hucks his green crystal.
Now, John, you spotted something.
I did.
on the screen here.
With that
the bear?
polar bear.
Before
Joe
you
saw
you
it
saw
too.
the polar bear?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That janky ass, like,
Janky ass puppet polar bear in
John
the
had
water.
Me, John had me rewind it twice. I still didn't see it until
It's
the
just
third time.
just the head peeking out.
It's like, why was that there? Was he
Yeah.
supposed to fight a polar bear? And they had to,
Possibly.
They had to cut that scene
Yeah,
for
that's-
budget
that's our
reasons or
guess.
something. I mean, $55 million. They should have fucking fought a polar bear.
Yeah, we didn't need to see half of the shit we saw in this movie. I wanted to see this dude fight a man in a polar bear costume. Even if it was
Or
just
it was
the headpiece.
1978. It might have been an actual polar bear.
It might have been.
An
right.
emaciated polar bear
So he just heaves this crystal
with mange.
like a couple miles across the tundra here. It hits the ground, sinks into the ground,
Kill a Yeti.
and once it gets wet, then it's just like, instant crystal fortress here.
You know what is good though?
What's that?
He never misses. Imagine if he underestimated.
What was he aiming for here?
But imagine if he underestimated how hard he threw that, and he threw it into orbit.
Well, yeah, that would be
It's
a
just
problem.
gone. He doesn't even know how to fly yet.
Yeah.
He's just fucked.
All right, so now he goes into the fortress here, and he notices that there's like a pedestal that's got a bunch of tubes and crystals. He fiddles with the
It's
crystal.
a Sibian.
Yeah, and Marlon Brando appears.
Sibian?
I'm a Sibian.
Yeah. He's like, oh, it's so good in my folds. So,
As I try to eat a Twinkie.
yeah.
Clark, where's your diaper? I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
And it shows because we presumably he listens to Marlon Brando mutter at him for 12 years. And we get like some space montage here where Marlon Brando's just like this is the Kryptonian knowledge. Don't interfere with their history. And he's just like, what? And then
It's like listening to Steven Seagal try and tell you
Yeah.
how cool he is.
and
Well,
then,
he refused to memorize his lines.
he did.
So
Yeah, he's just making
he's just
shit up.
making it up.
And like
Just like Steven Seagal telling you how cool he is.
Kal-El here has stood there for 12 years and listened to this shit. And now
So is that it? It's like not that he's learning all the knowledge.
No,
he's
he
just
just-
listening to the same 3 lines
Yeah.
over and over again for 12 years. Like, what did he? What?
Forgot to teach him patience and how to actually study first. They were a little rushed. I'll give them that.
So now this montage ends in a sweet, like, Marlon Brando ice face mask thing, like the boss of Star Fox.
It's like a death
And then-
mask.
Yeah, and then you fly through the eyes of that, and you get the 1-2 punch of John Peters' worst nightmare. He now has the super suit, and he immediately takes flight.
Yep.
All he needed was to punch a giant spider on the way out, and it would have been the trifecta. So he flies off, and you're like, all right, there's Superman, and he's gone. We're at the Daily Planet now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the final 2 lessons. 1, how to sew. 2, newspaper.
Yeah.
And Ma Kent and the dog are probably dead.
Yeah. Probably.
Well,
Well, no, because he's sending
No
the paycheck
distractions.
home to him.
Yeah, it's just a mailbox.
just-
full of paychecks.
In a mummified corpse. sitting,
2
in a,
mummified corpses.
sitting in a rocking chair.
I'd like to think it's crawling towards the mailbox, like reaching for it. Anyway,
You never came back.
so
all these powers, I couldn't do anything.
How are these black and
keeps
white
happening.
Oreos, Brick?
They're
Oreos?
they're Oreos. Yeah.
Okay.
we meet Lois Lane. We meet everyone else in the newspaper. There's some glorious 70s suits and 70s facial hair going on here. But the dialogue and stuff is, you're like,
Garbage.
whatever.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the Daily Bugle parts were probably my favorite parts of the movie. I just like,
Daily Planet.
yeah, whatever I said.
Yeah, I too also kept calling it the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, because that's way cooler. But no, like I don't know. I think I liked the frantic, fast pace of everything going on, and
Yeah.
because everything else in this movie moves at a snail's pace.
I mean, it's New York.
Yeah, it's
It's
New
a
York.
New York minute.
Well, it's Metropolis.
It's Metropolis.
Oh, yeah,
That's
right.
the Metropolis Statue of Liberty or Statue of Freedom.
Metropolwalk.
I think this has been spoiled because of J. Jonah Jameson and just that portrayal in the
Yeah.
movies.
Just being perfect.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like I just want to see that. But that's not this movie's fault. That
Later
wasn't
on in
around.
the movie where he's like, who is this guy? And where are my pictures of Spider-Man? Who the hell's Spider-Man? It's
Don't
time for
call
you to
me Sugar.
retire. Nobody called him Sugar.
Yeah,
Ever. No one ever called him sugar.
freaking the fuck out. I think
Giving
he's
that man coffee.
I think he's getting hypoglycemic and he needs sugar.
Get him an apple.
So anyway, Clark's sending half his salary home And like Lois is like, let me guess, to your sweet gray-haired mother. And he's like, actually, she's silver-haired. And I wished kind of everyone would have either kicked him in the shins or slapped him at that point.
I mean,
That would have blown his cover.
that's right.
So.
Oh, no, we
plot armor.
learned in the next scene he can collapse like a chump real
But
well.
nobody
Like a
hit
champ.
him. Because as soon as they did, they break their foot. Like that.
So, well, the one other interesting thing I found in these Daily Planet scenes is, like, for whatever reason, Lois Lane, who seems to be a really, well, presumably a good reporter. The movie will show you otherwise, but presumably a good reporter. Like, the boss just shits on everything that she types. Is like, you misspelled brassiere or something.
That's actually from the comics.
Yeah.
It's like her thing. She can't spell for shit.
But he seems to not really care about her stuff. But he's like, Clark Kent, you fucking animal, I love you. You haven't done anything yet, but you're the best.
Well, I mean,
And then every scene is like that.
He has
Because he's a bootlicker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Clark Kent is probably the only one that doesn't give him any shit there. So
Right,
he just
yeah,
loves
exactly.
him.
Sucks his dick all day. Like, yeah.
And he can
Really
spell.
fast.
And he can
And he can
spell.
spell.
And he's the fastest typist.
He is the
Yeah,
fastest.
That is true.
That is the one thing that
You know.
Jameson says in his praise.
Yeah.
Where
He types so fast.
Lois Lane is kind of a bitch.
But Clark Kent every week obliterates a typewriter, either through shattering the keys or typing so fast that the paper catches fire.
But then he just types backward, and it's
Yeah,
fine.
he types backwards. Reverse
Fixes everything.
So, all right, now they go outside. It's Clark and Lois now are talking. They're walking outside, and just a random mugger. He's like, "Hey, come in the alley."
Yeah, come in the alley
like,
with me.
As far as I know, this is not how mugging usually
No.
works. Where you're
Please.
just walking down a populated street and a guy's in an alleyway saying, "Hey, come into the alleyway."
Please leave the safety
Yeah,
of
hey.
these crowds of people.
Have you been in Metropolis in 1978?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how that shit goes down.
Have you been in Metropolis?
Yes.
John shakes his
So-
head.
And
Yes.
Gotham City.
John's like,
Alright.
I am Lex Luthor.
See, in Gotham City, you wouldn't have a choice because like everything's an alley.
Oh, yeah.
So like you have to cross through alleys to get anywhere.
This is Alley Street.
Yeah.
All of them are named Alley Street.
Yeah, it's like Bums and Guns Boulevard.
Yeah. Every so often,
Joker's
if you're
Lane.
on a street, like one of those like labyrinth like pipe cleaner things comes by and forces you into an alley.
That was actually one of the weapons they were going to try and use to kill Batman, but they were like, no, we could actually use this to
Yeah, this is
sweep
great.
the streets. Let's just
It's
put it
funny-
to work.
Yeah, Gotham, actually, the alleys are part of the safer part of this.
Yeah.
Just, ugh.
All right. So now Lois is like, all right, I'll handle this mugger. I will hold my purse out and drop it on the ground. And Clark's like, Lois, what are you doing? And the guy bends down to get the purse, and Lois kicks him in the
Yeah,
face.
and he's the whole time he's like, "You better not kick me in the face."
Yeah. And he just straight up shoots her. But
Yeah.
Clark is so fast, he catches the bullet, and then he just collapses. And the dude runs off without the purse. And then
I mean, at that
you know,
point, there's kids in the adult books. His
Yeah.
jig is up.
she's like, Clark, are you okay? What happened? He's like, I guess I just fainted. And she's like, oh, you puss.
So
And
this is the first reminder that I got of why I never liked Superman. Because Lois is so freaking stupid and ineffective. It's not even comical. It's just like you have to try that hard to be incompetent. It just I couldn't stand it.
Okay.
She's just crap.
Well, that's the writers purposely putting her in
Well, I know.
situations
but it's-
that Superman then has to save her from.
They're so absurdly like poorly thought out. They're not creative at all.
Well, why don't
They're
you
just
rewrite
like,
it for us, Brick? What like the same scene? What would he have happen? Let's hear
Same
it.
scene.
Yeah. Mugger gets him in an alley at gunpoint.
First of all, she shouldn't have kicked him in the face. She should have kicked the gun out of his hand.
Okay.
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 She's a very good like street reporter. I think that was her beat, right? It was a street,
something like that.
something
yeah.
like that. She should at least have some self-defense skills underneath her belt. That would have made her a little bit more.
I mean, she kicked him in the face.
Yeah, but not the gun, which shot her.
If you kick him in the gun might go off and shoot you anyway.
Correct.
No. If we're gonna go
His
and
fingers
write
on
this,
the trigger.
if we're gonna go and write this so that it makes her look cool and not like a plot device, have her kick the gun out of his
right.
hand.
Okay.
You know,
Then what's Clark supposed to do to showboat his superpowers without actually showboating his
Yeah.
superpowers?
this is how Clark actually has a reason to give a damn about her in the first place, other than you're the first woman that I looked at in the office. I'm going to try and bang you later. There's no incentive for him to give a crap about her at all. She's completely useless on her own.
Maybe he just.
Well, I mean,
likes
she's
because
like a-
she's attractive.
She's like a star reporter. She's obviously very highly regarded
she's-
in the office.
She's supposed to be very smart. Whether or
She's
not that
supposed
comes
to be
across
very-
to
yeah.
us, the audience.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
But again, this is to show that Clark is indeed Superman in
Oh, I know.
disguise.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast enough to catch a bullet. So in order for that to happen, a bullet had to be discharged.
Also, with his X-ray vision, he can tell the entire contents of her purse.
Correct.
He did.
Which was really
He
important.
did peep her purse.
Purse peeping.
He wanted to make sure her tits were the same direction.
Yeah. So now, we just cut to
Tits.
these two dudes are following this other guy. You know, they're like, it might lead to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, they don't really like what.
It takes a while to figure out these guys are cops.
They say when they're in the car, they're like, "We'll make Captain by midnight." So at that point, I was like,
hit that.
"Oh, they're
I didn't get that
detectives."
part. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not a big deal. It's just, you know, they followed this guy through Grand Central, and then he
Yeah.
walks out onto the
Fucking,
train tracks.
Paul F. Tompkins, super spy here.
Yeah.
This is one of those interesting moments where if you have no idea what's in the comics and you're at this movie, you're like, who the fuck is Lex Luthor? Who the fuck are these guys? Why do we care?
Well, we're gonna find out.
Well, yeah.
I-
the
yeah.
movie
Later,
tells you.
But I mean,
But like, if you know the comics, though,
I think even people that don't
It's
know
fan
the
service.
comics know who Lex Luthor is.
Yeah.
really,
I would also say
I said people. I didn't say brick.
I'd also
a very important distinction.
Yeah, like there's a
Yeah.
certain amount of just osmosis where you know some of these things.
Plus,
Osmosis Jones.
I'd give a
Correct.
movie I'll give a movie 5-10 minutes before they mention someone where you have to know who that person is. You know, I'll give them a little leeway. And I actually like this because it's like, it's sort of BS supervillain tech, but I like it's understandable
Yeah.
and you know it's used clever. Mm-hmm. Where you got this secret passage that the guy Paul F. Tompkins, super spy here, leans against this wall, and the detectives look at him, and a train goes by, and then suddenly he's not there because it turns out the wall's on a piston and slides backwards and goes back into place. So then the detective comes over. He's like, "There's got to be a secret door here. You know, I'll just keep rolling my D20 till I roll high enough to find it." And, you know, he's standing there, and now another train's coming, and Lex Luthor's like, you know what? Door goes the other way, too. And the piston just pushes this dude off the tracks
This door swings
onto the
both
train.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And kills him. You know, like,
and that's really where the cleverness stops.
yeah.
Yeah, I did genuinely like that concept. Like, it's just a great idea.
And then we get Lex Luthor and his henchwoman.
What the fuck is her name?
I just had it on my phone.
Chenderpin,
There's like it's like pass or fast or something.
Pendergrast.
Michael Fassbender.
It might have been Michael Fassbender. Might have been played by Michael Fassbender.
Eve
Go ahead.
Teschmacher.
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 Mrs. Teschmacher.
And he screams her name every time he says it.
Teschmacher?
Teschmacher.
So I thought it was Passmarker, but I'm like, it's by the fourth or fifth time I heard it, I'm like, it's definitely not that.
It
but
is
I don't know what it
spelled
is.
Teschmacher.
Oh, Tesh. Trying to remember. I think a Tesh is a napkin.
A Tesh is a very tall blonde man that
And-
plays the piano.
Guess what? Thanks to a recent dental procedure, she has new teeth as of 2017. So that's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. Well, most people that are like in their 70s must
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
go through that procedure at some point.
Yep.
So
She's got dentures.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Cool.
So we meet Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, and it's not the
got-
comics Lex Luthor. I know that.
She's got Parkinson's. I apologize for
All right.
old.
It's got nothing to do with your teeth.
So anyway, Lex Luthor. No, I know this isn't like the comics Lex Luthor, but I like Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor.
God, I didn't.
I like Gene
But
Wilder.
I don't know
hate
anything
this.
about comics Lex Luthor, though.
I don't really
so-
either. To be honest, all of my Lex Luthor knowledge comes from like the cartoon where he was like just a real savvy businessman who just happened to hate Superman
He's
for whatever reason.
more genius, less comic relief.
This was a little too 60s Batman
Yes.
for me.
Although I will say his lair was pretty cool looking.
It was just Grand Central Station.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but he turned one of the
Like it wasn't
one of the
even as
things
cool.
into a swimming
It
pool.
wasn't even as cool as the Ninja Turtles set.
No.
It basically was just the clean version of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, basically. It was like, oh, we put a pool over here. Cowabunga, dude.
So we've learned at this point that Lex Luthor, I keep calling him Lex
Lex
Luger because I'm used to wrestling, is after land, and he's going to do something with 2 missiles. You're like, all right, let's see where this goes.
Cool.
Back at the Daily Planet.
Meanwhile, Teschmacher's 2 missiles are going completely wasted.
Yeah, again, she calls Lex Luthor like sick for killing the cop and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you his henchman? You
Yeah,
think he's
like,
such an
what-
ass?
He doesn't let her leave.
What is her purpose here?
I guess maybe she's just his like high dollar hooker.
I don't think he lets her leave
That yeah.
Yeah.
unless he's personally with her.
Like I hate you,
she's
but you
just
pay
trapped
me
here.
enough.
But like you
I
can
think-
tell she's never touched him.
Yeah, I
You
feel
can
like
tell.
he heard the phrase trophy wife and misinterpreted it as find a woman, kidnap her, and that's her trophy.
That could be it.
I feel like he has something like he's got like like a family member or something, or he's got like a collar on her or an implant or something where
Or,
Yeah.
I mean, it could
Something's
also
keeping
be
her.
like he met her on Tinder, took her to his lair.
1978.
You know what I mean?
1978 Tinder.
1978 Tinder.
So back
a
page.
bar.
The,
Yeah, the
the
back page
stall
of
of a bathroom. is
Yeah,
on.
right, exactly. Yeah.
For a
He
good time.
took her home and he explained all of his evil plans to her, and she was like, you know what?
That makes me hot.
He's obviously a loser, but if I hang out long enough, he sounds smart. Maybe if his plans come to fruition, he'll be rolling. And then I'll be rolling too. So she's just playing the long game.
Or at least, she could get 15 minutes of fame when this guy ends up on the news.
Yeah, maybe.
Apparently, he's got the money to buy half of California.
Yeah.
from
I did finally
Luthor
find
Inc.
it.
So.
Well, the shitty half of
the
California.
shitty half of California. But
Well,
still.
I was
The
thinking
1978 shitty half of California.
I was thinking of the German word Tisch, not Tesh, which means table, which means she's a table maker.
What is Tesh then?
It is a family name.
Right.
So-
So she is a Teschmacher. So what is Tesh?
Tesh is just a family name. There's no
It's a
it
giant
doesn't
blonde
officially
man
have a
that
baby
plays the
maker.
piano
Yeah,
that
right.
many people
Big
believe
blonde
is an
orc.
alien.
But yeah, that's the word that I thought of. It's a table.
All right, so now back at the Daily Planet,
Loosely translates to tit smacker.
the chief hates Lois and Jimmy, and Clark asks Lois out. She shoots him down. He tries to follow her into the ladies' room, gets his coat stuck in the door. And Lois is like, I'm going to go meet Air Force One. And
Just
yeah,
like the plane itself.
and you just get a good solid minute of just Clark sucking. Like he gets his coat stuck in the door. Then he misses the elevator, and he goes to another elevator, and it's like going down. The guy's like going up, and points to the going up sign.
Violently.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here.
Going up, asshole.
Yeah. So now
Oh, gee golly.
Lois is boarding the news chopper, and the chopper just immediately fails. It immediately gets caught on some cord
Yeah.
and goes into a horrible death spiral.
So apparently the wind force from the helicopter is such that it loosens this bolted down cable.
Why is that cable even there?
Probably for the lights on.
Yeah, probably for the lights, yeah.
But still,
Yeah,
it's
but
a cable.
it'd be in like one of those metal like couplings or whatever or
Yep.
something. Like
Right.
it wouldn't just be
Right.
screwed down in a few
And
places.
so instead of like, oh, the helicopter's caught on this cable, I'm going to immediately land the helicopter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's let me just pull back on the throttle as much as possible and turn this thing,
I can't
get this
hold
thing in
her.
a tailspin.
All right,
Yeah.
I looked it up. She basically is his high dollar hooker / secretary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the pilot did just cut the throttle, if it fell from like 6 feet in the air,
Yeah, it's like
the helicopter
this
might
whole
be
thing
junked,
happened
but
at like 3 feet. Yeah.
you're probably not.
Oh my God, we're dying! Just
yeah.
open, just step out. Like you wouldn't even fall at this height. Just step out.
So the tail rotor of the helicopter just buzzes through like the pilot house and rips that to shreds.
Yeah.
And, the helicopter ends up precariously hanging over the side of the building.
Cutting the engine is not an option.
Yeah.
I don't know how to land. I only know how to fly.
Don't get to the chopper.
We were gonna make you hop onto Air Force One in the air. I don't know how to land this thing.
But now, the opposite, that's, overreaction of what would happen, then like the underreaction. If that helicopter did turn sideways and the rotors made contact with root, they're donezo. Like that is a violent, horrible, explosive death. It's like helicopters are the only things that explode like you see in the movies. And because their fuel is very volatile.
Would you say so far any of the stuff that's happening with this helicopter is loud?
It would be horribly loud.
It would be horribly loud?
Yeah.
Something that maybe an average person would be able to hear.
Probably.
Not something outside of the realm of possibility that a Superman could hear.
Oh, he is way too busy hearing his own shame.
Is that the problem? Yeah.
He's just like, oh,
Being yelled at by the man in the elevator.
I suck at being a person.
He's in the elevator with the gun barrel in his mouth,
Yeah.
realizing that he didn't bring his kryptonite bullet today.
It's just like, I can't even kill myself. I suck so much.
He's already fired it 3 times.
And got it all
bouncing around his mouth.
Yeah, he's just eating 3 bullets.
That is the
so.
worst.
How cool of an intimidation would that be, though, if, like, you're about to fight a guy and Superman just takes a gun and just, like, all 6 bullets, like, right down his own throat. And you're just like, whoa, okay, dude.
All right.
All
right.
Sure. I don't want to
How cool would
mess
it
with
be
you.
if they went down his throat and then he shat them out like ass pennies?
Yeah.
Well, you got to wait. Kryptonian digestion. While it's super, it's not. It still
Not
takes a
super
while.
fast. Yeah.
All right, so
Oh no, he has problems with lead.
you can't see through lead.
Maybe
That's just his eyes.
He's lead intolerant.
Can he see through
It gives him
himself?
diarrhea.
Huh.
Doesn't kill him. It just gives him diarrhea. Super diarrhea.
All right, so basically, like, Lois struggles with the chopper for a while. Her hat.
Struggles with
Yeah, we'll call it
functionality.
that.
I mean, she's doing better than I thought she would. She almost gets out. And I mean, she's doing better than I would if
That's fair.
the
That's
chopper
fair.
crashed. And she would call it
I
like
think
her
at this
hat.
point the blades have stopped,
Yeah,
but there's still schmucks on the roof who are just disabled. They're not doing
they
anything.
just went through some shit.
Yeah, I guess they're just too busy shitting and pissing themselves to
Yeah,
do
I mean,
anything to help
happens.
their colleagues who are in a chopper dangling off the side of the roof.
If the rotor like went through the building and I was just like, whoa, and had to duck, probably be a little while before I do anything. Anyway, so now her hat falls off, it hits the street, and Clark sees that as he's walking out of the building, failing at killing himself.
He sees
And
it, he picks it up, and he
where
goes,
did this come
"Huh."
from?
And it's not until he notices the crowd is there
Yeah.
where he's like, ooh.
like his super hearing wouldn't have
No.
heard the
Yeah.
helicopter crashing around and
Or-
her screaming like
Yeah.
crazy.
So I'm a little disappointed here.
Couldn't
'cause
hear it over the sound of his own crying.
one of the Superman staples that's stupid is he very quickly flies into a phone booth and turns into Superman and comes back out. So I'm expecting that here.
Yep.
And he just whips around like the door, like the rotating door. And
No,
then-
he finds a phone booth.
He looked at the phone booth, but it was
but it's
only
not a.
it was only a half a booth. So
Oh, yeah.
1978, Joe. Times are a changing.
his twig and berries would have been.
What's he gonna do now?
So
The interesting thing about that is I was like, did they riff on themselves in the past. Like it's you would expect that kind of a gag of like, oh, I can't use that phone booth to happen in a future movie. I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
either way, I'm okay. You got the rotating door. Fine. Do we need the pimp to just be like, hey, man, that's a fly outfit?
Yes.
As he flies off.
Yes.
Whistle tips go.
Woo! I'm not saying it doesn't need to be in the movie. It just shouldn't be his first transformation. Should not be Bub Rub telling you about whistle tips.
Listen, you gotta cater to the black audience.
You got to do it for Digby.
So anyway, he flies off.
Gotta get
and,
those dollars.
Yeah, so he catches the chopper as it falls off the roof and puts it
Oh, he
back.
catches Lois.
Catches Lois, then catches the chopper.
I've got you.
Just one hands the landing
yeah.
strut.
Just-
No problem. No.
That landing strut.
That's
That's good American steel.
Honestly, that's probably the most secure thing on the helicopter.
Which is a
but
funny
it's
thing
still-
because I'm looking at that, I'm like, if that strut is that strong, like they probably could have just kept going and snapped that whatever
Yeah.
cable it was attached to. It would have been fine.
So, yeah, he just takes the chopper, puts it back. He's like, you okay, Miss Lane? Don't worry about flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the safest way to travel. And he flies off, and Lois just passes out. And now we cut to a man is just climbing a building on suction cups.
The human fly.
And I like how this movie doesn't, try to bullshit you that this is a good idea to actually do. Because this guy's, 20 feet in the air or whatever, and he's already like, fuck.
Actually, this will be a surprise to a lot of people. But I was watching somebody who was like an ex-CIA person talking about infiltration. They actually do that kind of thing.
You can do it.
Yeah, it's
but
a thing.
you
It's
need-
not the first thing that they would be like,
you
this
need
is
to
a great
be
idea.
a trained athlete with
Yes.
it to
Yeah.
make this work. Because this guy's just like, fuck.
Because every bit of gravity is trying to kill you actively.
And if you make one mistake, you're donezo.
Like being surprised by a man who's
Yeah, like
standing on the side of the building.
putting your suction cup on somebody's foot.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I think
Superman's...
it's more the shock of
Yeah.
when he looked up, he was just staring directly into Superman's nutsack.
I mean, thank goodness he wasn't doing another,
So-
I'm a baby,
Sure,
save
cocking
me
it.
situation.
So Superman is standing upright on a floor that's purported to be the side of a building that this man is crawling on. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? Yoink.
Something wrong with the elevator?
Yeah. Flies him over to a cop and is just like, here, you take care of this guy. And flies off. And
I like how he pulls the stolen jewels out of the guy's bag. And I'm like,
did he?
hey,
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
Okay,
like,
I
you
didn't
know,
see that.
I'm like, in today's world, they'd be like, how do we know you weren't part of the same heist? Like, if
Yeah.
just
You
turn in
don't
your-
know that, but I can
But
fly.
I can
so
fly
don't fuck
away.
yourself.
All right, so I didn't see
Officer
stolen
Mooney.
jewels.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because I was like, I was probably writing something down. Because I was like, what crime did this man commit?
Yeah, no, he had
a
a-
flying man just came by.
Yeah,
and
no, he had a
put him in front of a cop.
he had a pouch full of
Yeah.
diamond
Yeah.
necklaces and stuff.
Because I would have just been like, what did I do? Let me go, officer. This flying man just
Yes.
brought me here.
The elevator was broken.
I was
trying,
minding my own
just
business
trying to get to
climbing
the
that
30th
building.
floor.
But I mean, he still could have been like, what are these? Where did I get them? What crime did I commit?
I didn't put those jewels
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's Superman. You'll
Yeah.
find his fingerprints all over them,
Yes.
officer. I have gloves on.
So now,
I wonder if Superman has fingerprints.
But I mean, in that case, Superman would just come back and be like, "I heard that," and just snap his neck and fly away.
there's a police chase and a shootout. And these criminals get on a boat and they drive away on the boat and they're like, oh, we got away from Metropolis PD.
That was the most
Half of them.
reckless fucking.
It was like
That was-
Grand Theft Auto shit.
It was more like Keystone Cops.
Yeah, those police were driving through buildings and shit.
and just firing their guns while the vehicle
yeah.
is moving.
Sometimes they weren't even pointing it at the other
Yeah.
vehicle. They were just shooting them in the air.
And were the criminals even firing back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
guess.
that shit
but-
flies in Gotham City where everyone is a criminal, but
Yeah.
like in Metropolis, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah.
So, also, they're in a boat. It's like they're still going to get the police helicopter on you, and you're still fucked. But anyway,
So I got birthday cupcakes, but there's
Super-
no birthday boys here. So
Superman catches up to him, Well, he's just standing on the front of the boat like an asshole. So this guy sneaks out of the hatch and like wallops Superman with a crowbar and just starts like doing the cartoony like shaky vibrating. You're like, all right, well, I guess
vibrations.
Yeah,
Horny
I guess
Joe.
they're arrested now. Oh no. That's right. He takes the entire fucking boat and leaves it in the street in front of the police station. Like an asshole. Like,
Who's going to arrest Superman?
I know, but you just committed a
Batman.
crime right there.
Batman.
Batman, I guess.
That's where Batman comes in because
Yeah.
no one is above the law.
That
Well, he
would
wouldn't
be
be around for another 11
Except
years.
for Batman.
Except for Batman. Yeah.
that would be funny if like
Someone has to
you know,
make a sacrifice
they
in
had
the
to
city.
do like after his first night of crime fighting. He's like, there's a few things I got to work on, you know. The next night he has to come and like take the boat back. And,
By the way, I rewatched the 1989 Batman recently. It's a good-ass movie.
yeah, very
It's a
good.
good-ass movie.
Holds up.
I might watch The Flash this weekend.
No.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop.
Anyway,
just to see Keaton put the suit back on.
Now, here's another part that kind of surprised me. I don't know if you guys heard this or if I'm just making this up, but he flies up to a girl whose cat stuck in a tree, saves the cat,
Yep.
hands it to the girl, flies off.
Yep.
Does the girl, when she walks inside and tells her mom what happened, does her mom immediately slap her?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I told you not to
I
lie.
did hear that.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman does nothing about
Nothing,
that domestic
just-
abuse.
It's 1978. You're allowed to
Well, you
smack
can't hear
your
a
kids for
helicopter
telling
crashing.
lies.
You can't hear a slap. But, I mean, also, you know, maybe he flew away and was like, yeah, she had it coming.
Yeah, and he's
Shouldn't
just,
have told her about me.
you know, 'cause right when the woman's like, "What did I tell you about lying?" He's just like, "Da da da." So he doesn't hear
Block
us.
it out.
Yeah, the guy who's like, I never lie. It's like, I
Not
don't know,
gonna tell,
deserves you
not
for
gonna tell that
lying.
lady how to parent.
For telling the truth.
That is an ugly-ass cat.
I like the cat.
Yep. All right, so now
Don't worry, Lucy. I'll protect you. Ma, there's an ugly ass cat out here.
blink, motherfucker. I love that video. It's just the weirdest looking cat. Anyway, so now Air Force One's flying along, just randomly hit by lightning.
Okay.
Fun fact: planes get hit by lightning all the time.
Right, they do not
They're
explode the
built to
engine.
do that.
I'm pretty sure planes
Does
would
not
not
blow
be
up
a
the
thing.
engines.
Yeah.
Planes would not exist if lightning just randomly exploded the engine.
Lightning cannot cause damage to you if you're not grounded.
Yeah.
It's just
Indeed.
electricity.
The lightning oftentimes just goes right through the plane and
Uh-huh.
right down to the ground. Also, a plane like Air Force One can probably fly missing an engine.
You would think.
I'm
And they're
pretty
like-
sure
might
all
have a
jets that have
contingency.
4 engines can
Prob-
fly with 3.
Yeah,
Probably too.
yeah. Most multiple engine jets, you know, obviously the performance isn't as good, but you can fly with, you know, missing one of them.
Not only that, but the wing shape generates lift. Like my beard generates crumbs. So even if they didn't have
Yes, it's not
engines,
crumbs.
it
It's not
wouldn't
crumbs
go
in your
down
beard.
like
Your
a
beard
chopper on
generates
the roof
crumbs.
of what?
Yeah. So now they're
Well,
like,
it does. It's called dandruff.
yeah, we're
Yeah, I got
missing.
that too.
So they're like, we're missing part of the wing. We're missing like a foot of the wing. Like it's not really that big of a
No,
deal.
it's
And Superman just comes along and he's like, "I'll be your engine." And
Now, what would be funny? Air Force One, as far as I'm aware, usually has fighters escorting it
at least nearby, yeah.
because it's Air Force One.
Yep.
If they were like, I don't know what that is, but it's approaching Air Force
Yeah.
One, it just shoots him.
And then I
It
mean,
wouldn't do anything,
Yeah, nothing
but it
happens.
wouldn't.
But like,
But then
It'd
he
be
goes
cool.
and just destroys a couple of fighter planes. And they'd be like, "Hey, I'll escort you, but you got to cut that shit out."
So, all right, he helps Air Force One land, and
I like the pilot that can see out the window.
Yeah.
It's just like, just keep flying.
I
I'm
ain't
not
telling
going to
you
tell
what
you
it is.
why.
yeah,
But he
Look
is
out
so
there.
gay for Superman right there.
I mean, that's one of the times where I got pulled over for walking, and the police behind
no,
me.
it wasn't.
Oh, God.
What?
No, it wasn't.
The police
Because
behind
Superman
me
was carrying your
said
wing.
that they saw a UFO, and I was like, "You should file a report." And he was like, "Are you kidding me? They'd fire us for doing something like
They
that."
pulled you over for walking because they saw a UFO.
No, they pulled him
And
over for
thought
walking
you
because he
exited
was
the
dressed
UFO.
like the Crow.
No, that was the first time I was pulled over for walking. This was the fifth.
So
time.
don't engage whenever he says time I was pulled over for walking.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it at best will loosely apply to what we're talking about. And in this case, it doesn't apply
It
at
doesn't
all.
apply at all.
No, because they couldn't say that. On the record, they couldn't say I saw
I
a
would
flying
I
man
would have
lift the
pulled you
plane
over
up.
too.
All right. So now, at Lex Luthor's place is beach time. We got the beach chairs out. Lex is going for a swim.
I liked this too.
Yeah, I did too.
I dug it.
You got whatever her name is, Michael Fassbender's in a one-piece bathing suit here.
One piece
Teschmacher.
bathing suit and nylons.
Sure.
For some reason.
Why not? She's
I
living
can
the
think of a lot
highlight.
of reasons why not.
She's at 200 Wall Street. What else could you ask for?
And they're talking about Superman here. Otis brings Lex Luthor his robe here, still in the water, so it gets all wet. And whatchamacallit? Nothing important happens here.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
We cut to the Daily Planet,
It's pretty much half the movie.
and they're having a meeting about we got to interview Superman. It'll be the most important interview since God talked to Moses, and Lois gets a note that says it's from Superman. Well, at this point, it's
Doesn't say
a friend.
who. Yeah.
And we'll meet
Check
you
yes
at 8.
or no.
Because at this point, Superman's not named Superman. He just Lois. He referred to Lois as a friend.
Imagine that if the comic all this time was just called A Friend.
Then it'd be My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
A friend.
All right, so we cut to Lois's balcony.
If
Meets
I
Superman.
go crazy, will you still call me a friend?
Superman. First thing when he shows up,
a
after
friend is dead.
are we good? All right, shows up at Lois's balcony, and she's like smoking just pure Marlboro Reds.
God.
He's like, just don't do that.
Pounding the bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
She already did 3 lines.
Yeah.
I mean, the
So,
smoking's just to take the edge off, really.
can we talk about Lois's apartment?
Okay.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure no one in any newspaper ever made as much as she could possibly have made to afford that apartment.
It's 1978.
Yes, it was 78.
You could.
The newspaper
Really?
was the thing.
Yeah.
There's not blogs.
Reporter was probably paid more. That apartment was probably a lot cheaper.
We had celebrity reporters back then.
Yeah.
It
She
was
may have had a
robust-
hookup from Perry.
Yeah, I mean,
Mason?
No, Perry White.
Perry Mason. Yes.
The editor of the
Oh, okay.
Perry
I,
Mason. No, Perry Mason. Yep.
Yes, Perry
Perry
Mason.
Mason.
I mean,
who also could probably hook you up with
Yeah,
the sweet
he
apartment.
Probably, yeah. He got back from Japan,
Okay.
covering the whole Godzilla epidemic.
I stand corrected. I would have thought that would have been
No, that was
totally.
the thing back in the day.
Huh? Okay.
God, these peanut butter cookies are good.
You're good.
Thank you.
They're like $2 at Walmart.
Robbie's cookies.
Also, Otis
Put my cookies.
looks like
in
Will
your
Ferrell.
mouth.
Kinda. Good. All right, so we get a while of just talking about Superman's vital statistics. Like, he's 6'4", he's 225, he doesn't have a girlfriend.
It's got a 3-inch girth.
How big are you?
Which is pretty impressive.
He checks Lois's lungs to make sure that there isn't any cancer. He's like, all right, you're good.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You're definitely gonna get it if you keep doing what you're doing.
I don't have to force give you mouth to mouth yet.
We get some awkward sexual tension. He checks her underwear. We find out he can't see through lead. Then, when she steps away, he's like, "Oh, they're pink."
He checks her underwear.
Yeah, he just uses
I know,
X-ray.
but it sounds like he checked to see if she shit herself.
I mean, maybe.
All right, your lungs are okay. Let me check your
There was a
underwear.
deposit in there, but
Let
it
me
wasn't
check for
shit.
spotting.
It's discussed that he's an alien being and whatnot. Lois has tragically few questions about that part.
I'm Space Jesus, pretty much.
And then he's just like, you want to go flying? And she's like, I probably should put on a sweater because we're going to go up into the fucking atmosphere.
He's like, yeah,
Don't worry about it. I'll keep you warm.
He's like, yeah, but shut up.
So he just takes her up into the sky,
Right.
up into the clouds to freeze and suffocate.
Did I mention there's no consent on Krypton?
Give me the stone. I'll never give you the stone.
So, and then he drops her.
Whoops.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, she kept letting go of him more and more. She was like, "No, I got this." He's like,
He,
"All right,
He's like,
whatever."
I
to be fair, he should know she doesn't have
Oh
this.
yeah, I know.
I got to remind you who's in control.
That was
here.
planned. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, he's like, "Don't worry, Lois. I want to make sure that you understand. I could kill you at any time. You consent, right?"
So this movie, though, I mean, this scene,
You can blow your
like-
back out.
this is pretty spectacular, especially in 1978. And I was like, this scene, I'm not really enjoying it, but I could see like a lot of people liking this scene. And
Did
that's
you
just
be-
like,
Did you believe a man could fly?
yeah, I mean, I could reasonably believe it
You know
in
what?
this scene.
Even as a kid, like watching this in like probably 1982 when it was on TV, I didn't believe he was flying.
I will say the green screen use is it's very clean.
Yeah,
It's very clean.
John, whenever I see somebody flying in a movie, I don't believe they're flying.
This is true. But like, yeah, it was like
But
they
that's
did
the
it,
tagline of the movie.
they did a very
You will
good job
believe a
of
man
like
can fly.
cleaning the edge around like him and the where the green screen meets
Yeah.
and hiding the wiring and everything like
So
that.
they're good at edging.
The
So-
good edging. There was some really good edging in this
Yo,
movie.
can you read my mind?
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at. Yeah. It's basically, this ruins the scene because she's just like, "Do you read my mind?"
Do you know the dirty thoughts I'm thinking
And I'm
about?
like, these movies play fast and loose with Superman's powers. So, like, maybe he can. I'm like, can he? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the
no,
movie.
he can. He may not have figured it out yet. But
Gotcha.
Eventually, he does have
Yeah.
telepathy.
Can you speak to fish?
Probably.
Okay. All right, good.
He can do anything.
Well, he can speak to them. They don't answer.
They don't
or-
necessarily listen to him. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the words.
So you're just like, what? Just stop.
Well, she's legit worried
Yeah.
that he has telepathy.
Yep.
And that he can read her mind and know all the dirty thoughts she's thinking about doing to him right now.
I believe you said while we were watching this, you should put on some pants so people don't think it's raining.
Yeah.
That was Rob.
That was me. I said close your legs. So people don't think it's right.
So
That was not part of the movie.
yeah. I mean, not that Superman would take me on a romantic, like, hand-in-hand fly-by thing. Well, I don't know.
would this
I
year.
might be selling myself short.
He would
Either
this
way,
year.
like, if he was reading my mind, I'd just be like, oh, fuck. Why are we up here? Oh, man.
And he'd say, "We'll get there. We'll get there, Big Joe."
And then, he takes her back to the balcony, plops her down, her legs quiver.
Oh.
She names him Superman, and he flies off. Immediately shows up as Clark Kent.
It's a song.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's an actual song. I did not know that it was.
Is it?
It was. Yeah. It's the lyrics from a song.
No.
That doesn't make
No.
it better.
No,
makes it
it
worse
kind of makes it
somehow.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
So-
sings this? Wait, who sings this song?
It is credited to Maureen McGovern.
Read it.
Can you read my mind?
Read it faster and not as sexy.
Do you know what it is that you do to me? I don't know who you are, just a friend from another star. Here I am like a kid out of school, holding hands with a god. I'm a fool. Will you look at me, quivering like a little girl, shivering? You could see right through me, unless I'm made out of lead. Can you read my mind? Can you picture the things I'm thinking of? Wondering why you're here, all the wonderful things you are. You can fly. You belong in the sky. You and I could be belonging together. If you need a friend, I'm the one to fly to. If you need to be loved, here I am. Read my mind, Rob.
Yeah, so that sounds like some shit that would be in the Star Wars holiday special. Like I would imagine,
Or in Twilight.
or Twilight, but I would imagine like B. Arthur singing that shit to a Wookiee. That's awful. That's a song.
B. Arthur and Itchy right there,
Yeah.
like in his porn chair.
Just jacking it.
In the living room.
How does he get the cum out of his hand fur?
It's moisturizer.
But anyway, yes, this throughout this entire like heartwarming scene of them flying
Could
romantically
you imagine
together.
that though, all dried in your legs and shit?
Anyway,
That's a different kind of damage.
I mean, there are probably some of us at this table that do have that problem.
I have furry legs, but I shower.
Are you a hobbit?
But anyway,
legs, not
so
feet.
throughout this whole scene, she's just like, "Oh my God, can he read my mind? Does he know all the naughty things that I want to do to
Does he
him?"
know that I secretly want it from behind?
So Clark just shows up after Superman has dropped her off, and he's just like, "Oh, we had a date. Let's go."
He forces his way
Yeah,
into her
it's like,
apartment.
Like, what the fuck are you doing here, Superman? Like you.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Lois, it smells like you're all horned up. Do you want to take care of that?
Yeah, this is exactly his plan.
Can I help out?
Sure.
Use Superman to get her all hot and bothered,
It
and
smells
then
like a Long John Silver's in here.
Oh God!
But this is weird because you think about like Superman is the reverse superhero in the sense that his secret identity is not him. He is like he's Superman.
Right.
no, he is Clark Kent, and he's the opposite of Batman. Batman is Batman all the time, and he pretends to be Bruce Wayne. Superman is Clark Kent, and he puts on Superman
I thought-
to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, I always thought he was
know
more
that I
like
agree with
if he's
that.
just hanging around at home, he's Superman, and he's not acting like Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Like Clark Kent's the facade.
But
I
like,
thought.
Well, it's not,
It's
it's not
the
like
Fortress of
Iron Man,
Solitude.
where it's like
he doesn't really have a good grip on reality. So hanging
I
around
guess,
at home
but
is a little different.
I'm trying to figure
for
out
him.
which one is the default.
Oh.
Because I would
I
think
would
Superman is his default setting. Like if you somehow knocked him loopy and he woke up,
No,
he wouldn't wake up as Clark Kent, right?
He basically, like, he's always Superman. Like, when
Yeah.
he shaves, he's got to look in the mirror and use his laser vision to shave himself because he can't use a razor
yeah,
and shit like
no,
that.
I understand that.
But when he identifies in his mind, he identifies as Clark.
Okay.
Actually,
That's why Batman calls him Clark and not Superman.
well, also
neither
that's a
of them
flex.
are true.
Huh?
That's
He's
just Batman flexing too.
Yeah.
he's actually Kal-El.
Well,
he is, yes.
technically
His
he's
birth
Kal-El.
name is
So
Kal-El.
technically, he's pretending to be both Clark and Superman. Because Clark was his adopted name.
His true
real
identity
name
is Kal-El of the House of Jor-El. But again, from what I remember of the comics back when I actually still read comics,
Yeah.
including Superman, he thought of himself as Clark Kent.
All right. So other way, he's in there as Superman. He's just the deal is sealed, but he's like, no, I got to leave and become Clark Kent and finish it that way.
He
like
wants
I
to
got
play it on nightmare mode,
Yeah, I have to do it as my human alter ego, I guess. And
which
then,
he's intentionally made suck.
yeah.
Well, do you think Superman's main flaw is that like he's like a one pump chump and
Are you saying that's the only part of him that's not a Man of Steel?
right, exactly, and that's so he's like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I got to do it as Clark because I need an excuse for why
Well,
I'm done.
it might be like a Mallrats scenario where he is worried about physically destroying her, so he's like, I'll show up as Clark to get like all of her juices back inside and cool her off and everything. Just turn the engine off so she forgets like how randy she is for Superman. I don't know. Either way,
Maybe he's got a micro penis.
yeah.
It's more acceptable as Clark Kent than it would be as Superman.
Superman, are you okay? Oh, I must
Which
have just
one of these
fainted.
crystals makes my dick bigger?
I'm a grower, not a
Can we
shower,
just use
Lois.
the crystals?
All right, so we cut from this nonsense to some other fucking nonsense because Lex Luthor, reading a newspaper, figures out from a newspaper and like a star map that Krypton is his weakness. And I'm like, no, you didn't just do that.
Could have been a bubblegum wrapper.
Sure, you just made like a million assumptions.
Yes.
That you treated as absolute fact to the point where we're willing to go to Addis Ababa and kill some dudes to steal a meteor. I'm like, no, that's not how. Like Superman doesn't even know about kryptonite. Like,
There's a dude in that picture holding a box containing the meteorite. The box is open.
yeah.
He's claiming that there's radiation.
Mm-hmm.
If there's radiation, how would he have known unless it was in the article? And if it was in the article, there would have been scientific papers done on it to study how much radioactivity there was. He got none of that information from it. He's just totally made the whole thing up. Lex Luthor's superpower is he manifests reality.
Well, yeah, he kind of, it's almost like he trumped it where he just made up his own reality and just assumed that's the way to go.
Exactly.
And it turned out to be true. I think he slipped some money to the editor or to the writer. And the writer,
$86 million of money.
The writer was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's true now. So now we see shenanigans as there's a convoy with a fucking ICBM on it. And some sort of self-driving / self-crashing car.
So, interesting thing about this caravan.
Yeah.
The missile is marked U.S. Army.
Yep.
As far as I'm aware, most missiles are Air Force. But
in this particular test, these looked like they were almost like cruise missiles, and one of them was marked Army and one of them was marked Navy, which I don't think the Army ever gets to use cruise missiles, but I think that's the Air Force and the Navy. But either way, it's like it's more plausible than ICBMs.
now the people who are escorting it are Navy. I would have assumed a land caravan would have been the Army's territory.
So there is one Army missile and one Navy missile.
They're carrying the Army missile.
I don't know. So I didn't mind that I could see the piston that crashes the self-crashing car because that's just how it works.
Yeah.
You know, that's how he actually crashed it. So I'm fine with that. And, you know, this plan is reasonably sound, except for the fact, like, why didn't you have Otis just push the button that, you know, crashes the car and he would go set the timer on the missile or the destination.
Because if they got caught, then it's
I guess.
Otis that goes to military prison.
Well, the other thing is like the caravan wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah,
Like-
they would have just kept going. They would have called for emergency services, but they would have left her in the road.
Maybe a Jeep would have stayed behind. The whole caravan would not have stopped.
I mean, in the midst of the Cold War, like, they may have even, like, if they didn't run her over, like, a guy would have gotten out and just dragged her to the side of the road and they would have kept going.
Yeah.
But either way, John and or Rob gets out of the caravan here, and they're like, "This woman needs a vigorous chest massage and mouth
Come
to
on
mouth."
now, you are setting me up as a pervert.
I believe you have done that throughout.
I only would rub the breasts of my wife. Thank you.
Currently.
That's true. Actually, you would be standing there criticizing her breasts. That's actually more on character.
You would have made her so mad she would have blown her cover.
Yeah, maybe.
You would have been like, "This woman's not that hot. Don't bother."
I mean, probably. Yeah, I would have something to say.
You would have made the private and the commander like get into a fist fight. Because the senior officer's like, I'm not going to let you do this. It's
he's like,
something that I would do.
Yeah, I wouldn't have you do anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
It has all the men.
Stand aside.
Yeah.
Give me them titties.
It has all of his subordinates surround him, and he's just like, about face.
Yeah.
It's like, there could be no witnesses to this sexual assault.
This plan might as well have been just a kissing booth on the side of the road, and they all stopped and like
It might
get
as
in
well
line.
have been Bugs Bunny in a
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah.
So, while this is happening, his other goon Otis sneaks on board, changes the coordinates for where the missile's going to go. Apparently, those were checked at the factory and nowhere else, not like before the missile's fired. So now Lex shows up as a paramedic with an ambulance to get her out of here, and that's a fairly clever plan to for how they escape. He doesn't just leave her to the wolves.
Gets out, and he's like, hi, someone hurt? And I'm like, that's not really, that's like how an ice cream truck driver would be like, hi, you want some ice cream? It's not how the paramedics usually respond.
Would have been a real Stephen King's It situation.
Is there like a victim at the bottom of that man pile over there? at this point, it's
Can I
just
get
like
in on that?
At this point, it's a couple of victims because the guys really weren't paying attention.
I've been paying her. Can I get in on that?
well, it's like the cartoon smoke cloud where occasionally you see like a bare ass thrusting in there, and Mrs.
She's just standing. off to the
Tashmaker
side.
crawls out of the bottom of it, and gets away.
It's like Tommy Wiseau just up in somebody's belly button.
So,
Don't matter who.
all right. So now they're driving away, and of course Otis fucked up the coordinates. So Lex abandons driving the car to slap Otis. He's like, "Oh, I didn't. My arm's not long enough to write all 4 numbers." He's like, "You want a long arm? I'll give you a long arm."
No, Miss Teschmacher, she's getting real excited because she's going to watch somebody else get beaten.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was saying before, she was making some kind of claim. She's like, I know that this is going to give me a rap on the mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. Yeah.
There's an implied, like, she's been hit. Now she gets to see the other guy get hit. She gets so excited, but then realizes that no one's
Someone
driving.
needs to
She's
drive
like,
the
fuck.
ambulance.
No, in like a true authoritarian government kind of situation, Lex Luthor has it so that Miss Teschmacher and Otis hate each other and want to see each other fail.
Okay.
So that,
Yeah.
they're too busy scheming against each other to ever rebel against him.
That would be a really great Jerry Springer episode. Just to have the 3 of those on.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Rest in power, Jerry Springer.
So now for the other missile, they just wait for this separate convoy to be driving across a narrow bridge, and they just drive a fucking house truck onto the bridge.
Where did they have that in waiting? Was that like the backup plan, just standing
That's
by?
one of the houses he's going to put on the land he bought in California.
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
just
its way out
parked in
there.
a lot.
And that just works. Miss Teschmacher just sneaks aboard, changes the numbers. That one actually worked successfully. And now we cut to Lois is just interviewing a man while driving a car. He's like, "Look at the fucking road."
Yeah, she almost drives
Stupid white
off
lady.
a cliff into a ravine.
And turns out like he's selling his desert lands that have been in his family for generations because this guy's going to pay a
He's
ton
a
of money.
Native American.
Yep.
And he's like, this is useless, worthless land. And I'm like, I'm pretty confident not a single Native American would be like, yeah, this land is worthless.
No, they are like,
Yeah.
this is the shit land the government gave us. And now we're selling it for
And
fucking
this guy's
top
giving him
dollar.
enough money to buy like good land somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a desert.
Yeah. So, while this is happening now, some sort of missile test that we vaguely have heard about earlier is happening. And we also hear briefly about a museum theft and a murder in Addis Ababa. And then, the chief is telling Clark about this.
He
When
needs cojones.
suddenly there's this like screeching message on dog whistle frequencies where it's Lex Luthor like, only Superman can hear on this. I'm just assuming. I don't know.
That
Yeah.
Trump supporters.
You got 5 minutes before a gas attack occurs. I'm going to kill everybody. And he just like, just leans out the window and
Yeah.
just falls out the window, turns.
I love that plan because he's watching everybody else in the newsroom whose
Yep.
eyes are glued to the TV. And he was like looking to see if any of them turn around. And I'm like, what would have been his cover story if they did turn around and
Yeah,
saw
he
him
has to
just-
work at a new newspaper. Like Clark's just dead.
Yeah, but like, like they would have
He's like, I'm
reacted.
just getting some fresh air.
Yeah, I'm just getting some fresh air at terminal velocity.
So, he just lazily blinks into Superman. It's just like a little flash,
Yeah.
and he's Superman. They're like, we're not even going to bother with how he changed. And he just like lands on a street corner, and he's like, "Oh, pardon me, I'll just spin around real fast and drill into the fucking sidewalk."
Yeah.
Don't fall in, people.
Yeah, and just ends up in the Luthor
There's
compound.
a manhole 10 feet away.
Yeah. And Lex Luthor's like, "Oh, I wasn't going to gas anybody. I just figured, I needed to say something serious to get you here." And he's like, "Is that how your warped brain gets its kicks, plotting deaths of innocent people?" He's like, "No, it's by causing the deaths of innocent people." And now the missiles launch, and Lex Luthor gets out like the projector and like the PowerPoint presentation of his plan, and he's got this huge
Got
map.
a floor map.
Yeah, and he's got slides that Otis is putting down, and He's going to nuke the San Andreas Fault with like a 500 megaton warhead. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's
But
they don't really make those. I think I know the Russians made Tsar Bomba, which was 1,000 megatons, but I don't think the United States ever made a warhead anywhere near.
That's how you get a
that
Godzilla,
size.
son.
But also, like,
it's still a tectonic plate.
yeah,
And it probably won't care.
why are we test firing missiles with actual nuclear warheads on them?
For funsies.
Sure.
Insert cliche about the military being irresponsible.
I guess. So,
Yeah, it's all right. They were just going to detonate it over the ocean. That would,
yeah, that's
that
fine.
wouldn't have any consequence.
No
500
consequences. Don't worry about Hawaii, Guam, any of those.
There is nowhere in the world you could detonate a 500 megaton nuclear warhead without consequences.
Consequences of actions, pimp.
Yeah. So, what should call it? Also, at this point, Lois just happens to be driving near the San Andreas Fault. And of course, the missiles, as they're fired, immediately go off course and will not respond to the abort codes because no one checked that anything was different on the missiles before they fired them.
No procedures.
Yeah, I don't know how you overrule a detonate abort thing, but like I guess if you just physically remove the thing that would blow the warhead up, maybe. But anyway,
I'm very confident those kinds of tests would have numerous fail safes and backup plans.
it also wouldn't be a live warhead on them.
That
So, I gotta say though, I like how Lex Luthor plays this part though. He's like, "Don't worry, the missiles they can only be stopped by the detonator I have here." And so Clark's like, "Where's the detonator? I have X-ray vision. I'll look everywhere. I'll look through your desk. I'll look through your soul." And
what's behind door number 3?
yeah,
You
Lex
so
Luthor's
stupid.
just sitting on the lead box, and he's like, "Oh no, it's not in here." And Superman's
my pants.
like, "You dumbass! Think you could hide it with lead?" And gives him like a wrestling backdrop onto the couch. And Lex Luthor's just like, "Dude, don't open that." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna do it." He's like, "Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna do it."
I'm so naughty.
And he opens it up, and it's kryptonite, and like Superman's just like. It's like he sees a Dragon Ball Z power level and is just stunned, just incapable of action. Just not only is he without powers, but he starts like he can't do anything.
Yeah, this is the kryptonite radiation immediately just kicks him in the nuts.
Right? Yeah, it's just perpetual dick kicks.
So Tsar Bomba,
Yep.
What?
50 megatons.
Oh, okay.
Not even
500 megatons. Okay.
That's an order of magnitude larger.
Yeah, and as far as I know, Tsar Bomba was the biggest one ever set off. Okay, so 500 megatons is preposterous.
And it was a hydrogen bomb, but yeah.
Yeah. So, whatchamacallit? Now, Luther's like, all right, I'll just, make this kryptonite necklace. I'll just put that on you. I won't like lock it on or, even like, put it on you a couple times to make sure that it won't just fall off.
Yeah, I mean, I've already assumed how it works, so here we go.
Insert cliche villain hubris.
He's like, I'm just going to go in the other room and assume you died after I push you in the swimming pool.
Right.
After I told Miss Teschmacher that her mother's probably going to die.
Well, that's right. She's
And
like,
just leave her on.
she's like, my mother. He's like, the other missile's heading to Hackensack.
I mean, granted, it is New Jersey.
Because Otis fucked up. Who cares?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, that wasn't because Otis fucked up. That was intentional. He was just going to nuke Hackensack.
I don't know why.
Well, it's because one missile's in California, one missile's on the East Coast. Superman
but why
can't be in-
Hackensack?
Just because.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Hackensack?
Well, I mean,
I was just saying it is New Jersey.
it's 500
Yeah.
megatons. It's the tri-state area. It's just wiped off the map. Long Island's probably gone. Like, it's just, it's
If you're going to ground
horrible.
zero somewhere,
Yeah.
it's Hackensack.
We're dead, too. Like,
Yeah. So, he's like, so Miss Teschmacher's like, my mother lives in Hackensack. And he looks at his watch. He's like, nope.
Not anymore.
Just walks off. So she's like, all right, well, I guess I'll go over to Soups, watch him drown.
Oops.
And she's like, okay, check it out. I need you to save Hackensack first, and I know you can't lie to me, so promise you will. And he's like, okay, I promise.
Kill whatever, bitch.
And then she like takes him out of the water, kisses him, cuddles him for a little while, then takes the necklace off. He's like, missiles are flying.
Missiles are flying. You just sexually assaulted me.
Yep.
Okay.
And she takes the kryptonite thing off and just hucks it like over her head and down a sewer grate, like no biggie.
Hit Splinter in the head.
And he's like, why'd you kiss me first? And she's like, you wouldn't let me do it later. All right, so
He's like, fair enough.
yeah, I guess. And
He liked it.
flies off.
I think the reach around was a little excessive. I enjoyed it, but still.
I would have loved it if it was something like, even if Superman didn't kill Lex Luthor, if he just ran in the other, if he was like, pardon me, Miss Teschmacher, and just real quickly like flashed into the other room and was like, and slapped both of them like 500 times or something like that, or like hit him real hard with a couch
Lex
pillow.
was gone. He left.
Well, I thought he was in the other room watching the missiles on like it in his home theater.
Yeah.
No, he was. He left that layer and he went somewhere else.
Oh, there was a different layer.
I thought it was just a different room in the same layer.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I was pretty sure he left.
Either way, okay. Superman flies off, just catches the missile headed for Hackensack, pushes it into space. These missiles.
He doesn't just push it into space. Lex is watching it on the radar.
Yeah.
And he's just like, right across the United States.
And his face is just in the missile's exhaust. He's like, whatever.
I don't care.
Yeah.
No laser eyes. You don't need that.
I have no idea where I'm going now, but whatever. So he then goes after the missile going for California, but too late. All that lollygagging. You see just this big old explosion in California. And California just starts falling apart. Meanwhile, Lois stops at a gas station. And, she's honking a horn to get service.
At a place that has a sign that says closed.
Yep, and the gas station just collapses and explodes. It's an earthquake, whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens all the time in California with gas stations.
Superman's like, I'll fix this. I will fly into the earth and lift up the San Andreas fault. Just lift it up.
That's fine.
Just shim that in there, I guess, to stop the tectonic plates. I don't know.
Because it's just things falling, right?
Yeah, well, it's one tectonic plate going underneath the other one.
Yeah.
Right, but
if
he's not pushing against the tectonic plate. He's lifting up the part that fell into the ground. He's not stopping the movement.
Well, he's
filling in a hole.
He's pushing up the one that was going underneath.
He's gluing the two together.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Earth's history or their geology.
Yeah. Sorry. So he's doing some shit in the center of the earth. You're like, whatever. He fixes it somehow. Just like how he tracked the missile down. I don't know. I guess he heard it or smelled it.
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails. Yeah. So now, I put fun with miniatures on the Golden Gate. As you see a sweet train set model of the Golden Gate Bridge start getting wrecked. And it's pretty cool. These kids on a school bus are about to fall off the side. Superman comes and saves them. And he's like, don't stay in school, and flies off. And what you call it? There's a train about to go over a gap in the tracks. So Superman, rather than bend the rail back or seal it with his heat vision,
he bent one of them back.
Yeah, the other one he just laid there and let the train run across him. That's how that works.
Can change shapes so that it didn't cause the train to derail.
And the Hoover Dam just fucking goes busto. Parts of it blow out.
The Hoover Dam is where? Is where?
Hoover Dam is by Lake Mead.
And what state is that in?
That would be. Is that not Nevada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the San Andreas Fault.
No.
Nowhere near it.
Nope.
Why is that falling apart?
Because it's a huge
Missile
earthquake.
in Hackensack, earthquake in the San Andreas Fault. Why is the Hoover Dam falling apart?
500 megaton nuclear warhead inside of a fault line might. I don't know. That's a lot of explosive power.
It is.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Maybe that wasn't the Hoover Dam. Maybe it was the Metropolis.
So anyway, This is actually fairly decent destruction of the Hoover Dam. I mean, it's a model, but like they're not going to break the real fucking Hoover Dam, and this is about as good as you're going to get without CGI.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of enjoyed this. You know, the part when the water like washes over the electrical plants and sparks are shooting out and all that. The water scaled pretty well. Like there's some parts a little later on where you see some floods where the water's like, that's clearly a model. That's not at all to scale. This worked pretty well. Jimmy Olsen's at the Hoover Dam for whatever. Lois left him there. If she's at the San Andreas Fault, yeah, she's just,
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow, I guess. I don't know.
Well, later he's like, you know, she'd be driving by here any minute. It's like, you're in a different state,
Yeah.
dude.
I think Lois just left him there to die. And what do I call
As
it?
you do.
He Superman saves him, just leaves him out in the road. He's like, "Oh, worry, Lois will be by
You'll be
soon."
safe here.
He's like, "Oh, Lois, I don't know, maybe I should save her at some point." But she runs out of gas, and the Earth just swallows her.
Well, no, before that.
What?
He's got to stop the flood.
Well, he's in the process of doing that while she runs out of gas, and the ground eats her. And now a flood is destroying clearly a like HO scale train set model town.
Downriver from the Hoover Dam.
Yep.
The first thing that you will encounter is a campsite. Fuck those people.
They're done.
The next town, 40 miles away, not around the bend. There's actually another lake before the town.
Yeah, but I'll give it, that water travels pretty quick in a surge. Whatevs. So Superman pushes some rocks down, just permanently alters the Colorado
Fixes
River. And stops that. And meanwhile, like Lois is legitimately dying a horrible death.
Yes.
She is swallowed by the earth, and the car is slowly getting filled with dirt. And this is actually this is kind of brutal to watch.
Granted, she's done nothing to try and extricate herself from the vehicle.
Well, she did at first, but like rocks
she?
and shit fell on her. Yeah, she's like she stood up and is trying to like get the door open, and then
The car stopped. And
Yeah.
she's repeatedly like a moron trying
yeah,
to
her
start
dumbass
it.
should have gotten out of the
Yes,
car.
yeah. She did not get out of the car as she watches in the rearview mirror the cracks spread down
Yeah.
the road from like a mile behind
Yep.
her.
Yeah. Also, when you're right by a rocky hillside and like flat land is like right over there. Okay, so either way, this is happening. She dies from this while Superman's off making a dam. He flies over, finds her, just rips the door off the car, takes her out, kisses her corpse, and
Forget CPR. Fuck
forget
that.
CPR. Yeah,
Forget it.
Forget all
don't
that
fly her to a
knowledge that
hospital.
he now has of
Yeah.
all the 24 known galaxies.
Now you're about to see one of the dumbest things ever put on film.
Yep.
And
I mean, that's a hell of a claim, but
in a
Yeah.
major
That-
motion picture.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be stupid to
I mean,
begin
there's
with.
been like 5 Transformers movies.
Yeah. I don't.
And you haven't
All
seen
right.
The Last Night yet.
So the Transformers movies do a lot of dumb things. I don't think they've done in any one single
I'm not sure.
incident
I'm not sure, honestly.
anything as stupid as this.
I'm not sure, honestly. But go ahead.
I will not. As far as stupid, if you measured it in like stupid over time, definitely Transformers movies are winning. But anyway, he. All right. First off,
He kills everyone.
Yeah.
what's his name? Christopher Reeve. Nice acting here. I like his freak out. I like his little emotional meltdown with her dead, and just flies off into the sky, screaming.
Which
Gonna
would
punch the sky.
right there, like the scream that he lets out. If that was Superman screaming in grief in reality like that would be shattering like mountains around him.
It would have ignited
Yep.
the atmosphere.
Did they do that in Man of Steel? Because he screams in that movie too. Did it cause any
I don't
damage?
think so.
I don't remember,
Come
but yeah, he screams and shoots off into the
Yeah.
atmosphere.
And you hear like his dad and Jor-El are talking about it's forbidden to mess with human history, and his dad's like, you're here to do great things or whatever, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna
Both
fly.
of you are dead.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I hear you, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But this
ignore
girl I've known for 3 days,
you. That I was so close to.
Yeah.
I almost banged her cigarette-y mouth.
Now he has the knowledge of 26 galaxies or whatever. Maybe this works, and we just the laws of physics. We've never actually tested it.
No.
But he flies around the planet counter orbital, going the other direction, just real fast. Becomes a little light blur going around the planet, and it causes the planet to spin the other way.
Yeah.
Stop first.
Stop first.
Stops rotating, which right there, everyone's
Everyone's
dead.
dead. Yeah.
All dead, yep.
All right. So yeah,
You thought the dam explosion
Gravity
was that?
disappears.
Holy
the
shit.
the atmosphere would light on fire from the friction, the shock waves, the tidal floods, all
Ocean
that.
current. Just
I'll tell you what
completely
won't
fucking-
happen. Time won't fucking rewind.
No.
Selectively, so only the event that killed your girlfriend is erased and everything else is still fine.
Yeah.
To the point where you could just, stop it, get it spinning the right way again, and then fly over
the
to
right
her
velocity.
at the right velocity.
Yeah.
Fly over to her and just be like, "Oh, hey, your car's out of gas.
And you're not dead
Yeah.
this time.
You're not dead, and the rocks
So
aren't falling."
yeah, right now there's an entire town dying as the Hoover Dam explodes.
See,
La, 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 la,
I
la,
interpreted
la.
that as the movie would lead us to believe that he literally only undid her death, and everything else is still fine, which makes even less fucking sense.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Of
Yeah.
everything else on
Yeah,
this
even
long
if
list.
he was able to turn time in reverse,
All right.
somehow.
Question for you.
It's easier
Yeah.
than performing CPR.
I know how much you hate time travel in movies.
Yeah. Oh, I hated this.
Is this the worst example of time travel? Because there's nothing I can think of that would explain selectively turning back just that moment.
Probably also because, besides this removes all stakes from the entire franchise. And it's not even like he needs the time machine. He can just always do this. He can
is
do
the
this
time
whenever he wants to undo anything. So why bother with anything?
When Lois comes to him, I'm pregnant.
Pulls out,
Blasts her in the
fires a
face.
seed through a wall or something. All right. I don't get how things like this get made. I know I'm a lot more demanding on the movies I watch than most people.
Just cocaine.
But how the fuck, with a straight face, do you propose this to a bunch of people? And they're all like, yeah, no, this,
that works.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
makes
film
sense.
this.
That rewinds
How
time.
does this get filmed and passed? I don't know if maybe there weren't test screenings back then, or I don't know how
There was an
anyone
actual
thinks this is
screenplay
okay.
that they brandished in the opening credits very
Gene-
largely.
Gene
Yeah.
Hackman, he's goofy. It's fun. He
I
kills
mean, I
Lois
could
Lane
see
in the first
possibly.
movie.
Isn't theoretically, if you break the speed of light, you start to
If
go
you travel
backwards.
at the speed of light, time will progress slower around you, which will effectively put you in the future. But there's no,
It's relative to other.
indeed.
Yeah.
And there's nothing about going backwards.
It's
It's,
like,
it's,
yeah,
it's
alright,
just forwards.
Yeah.
you can't. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, even that doesn't work.
No.
Like,
So yeah, whew. I'm like, I have a lot of questions. What exactly
Like-
did he fix? What's going on here?
If you really want to get into the physics of it, the faster
I
you
don't.
go towards the speed of light, the larger basically the gravitational well you're creating because your mass increases exponentially. So he would have turned into like a supermassive black hole around Earth.
Lois is just like, she's alive now. She's complaining about a bunch of
Just
stuff.
complaining.
And then she's like,
showing us really why they fell in love in the first place.
Exactly.
she's like, oh, you're Superman. You probably solved a lot more problems than mine right here.
Little
Thank you
old
for
me.
being here.
She's an
I'm gonna kiss you.
unlikable, gross cat lady. That
Jimmy
doesn't
O-
like cats. That's what she is.
The views of Rob do not necessarily.
No, they do.
reflect
Honestly, I
the
think
4
they
a.m.
do
block.
in this case.
I might be overruled, but
She's
I
not,
do like
she's
cats.
not likable in this movie.
yeah.
No.
No, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I will give you that. So
Lois Lane as a character in general is fine.
yeah. So now Jimmy Olsen shows up with the cock block. before they kiss.
Real.
So he goes back in time again.
And kills
Kills
him.
Jimmy Olsen.
Just puts him a couple more miles down the road. Superman flies off. And whatchamacallit, Lois is like, Clark, he's not here. He might be. Nah.
He's never around at the same time.
Yeah. And he's like, no, that's the dumbest idea you ever had, Lois.
That's the closest to a full thought you've ever had.
And then Superman just takes Lex Luthor and Otis to a prison. No Miranda rights,
No.
I mean, well, honestly, like after this, wouldn't he just kill them? Like that death penalty? Like you tried to
'Cause
nuke
he's Superman.
Superman wouldn't kill, yeah.
Now,
Okay.
having said that,
Well, he did.
as
kill-
we saw
kill
with the
whole
Earth
planet.
being stopped, he could just fly around really fast at their base, kind of like a depleted uranium round, and
Yeah.
just kill them that way. I didn't kill them. Physics killed
the
them.
heat from my body.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I would love to see, because literally he just brings them to a prison, leaves them there, and is like, they've done crimes, arrest them.
like
So-
little kids playing in the backyard.
Guaranteeing that they're off from whatever evidence gets discovered. They're off. They're civilly they might be liable for things, but they're not going to jail.
Yeah.
Because just a random weirdo in a Speedo fucking just brought him to prison and said like, oh, they're evil.
So the interesting thing
until
about
Ducky shows up.
the interesting thing about the 24 known universes,
Yeah.
none of those galaxies included the U.S. legal system.
Yeah, none of them
he has
has due
no
process.
idea.
What
how
I
that
would love
works.
to see Superman do though is just like
Become a lawyer.
smash through a wall or something with a cop on his back and just be like, they're doing evil. Put the cop down. and
Arrest
just, like,
these
grab him.
assholes.
Could you imagine though if Superman wore a body cam?
But I want to see the Supreme Court case where like they're like, so Superman discovered all the evidence that went to jail, but he did bring a cop with him. The cop didn't have any say. The cop was forced to go there. So it's not like the cop, broke like search warrant laws.
Yep. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see I want the Superman courtroom drama, not whatever this is. But now
That would be awesome.
after he delivers them to prison, he just flies up into the sky. The sun's rising over Earth. The theme's starting up again. And he just flies by, giving us a smile and everything's good. Yay. Da, 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 da. It's over.
Yep. It is over. That's it for Superman.
Night, everybody.
This did fairly well on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did quite well.
Oh wow, yeah. 94% from critics.
Holy crap.
And 86% from the audience. Joe,
Make me go first.
I'm just gonna go in order. I don't know what Tony does in his brain.
So
Nobody does.
Yeah, this is
Not even
counterclockwise
in.
for me.
let's do it real fast. We'll rewind time.
Yeah.
No, but then we'll have to go through the podcast again.
We're going around the table.
no.
at
Just
the
that
speed of
moment.
light.
Just that moment.
Yeah, just the last 2 minutes. Of the
Yeah.
movie.
Okay, so I mean, this is one of those movies that's important, and it's historical. It's it starts the superhero genre. It ushered in a lot of good things. Had cool specs for a time. I'm sure at the time this is probably fucking amazing. That being said, no, I didn't. It's dumb as hell. I did enjoy myself. Christopher Reeve is an awesome Superman. I'll give him that. I liked that performance, but I like Brando's phoning it in on a fucking diaper. Margot Kidder is not that good of an actress. And I like Gene Hackman. I did like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, even though he's not very Lex Luthor-like from what I understand. But I would also say, as a counterpoint, I don't know what a good Superman movie is or what a good Superman story is. He's an important character in that he's like the first big superhero and he's like the mold, the prototype. But I don't know how you tell a good Superman story. I just don't like it. I don't like his powers. I don't really care for the character. It feels very basic. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of how this movie feels, interrupted by bouts of just utter fucking stupidity.
How'd you like the puns, though? There were some great puns.
They bounced right off because everything else was, just assaulting my senses. So, I would say this is a movie that everyone should see. I think it's an important movie. It's like for the superhero genre, you should see where it started. So I am going to recommend it, but it's not. It doesn't hold up well. It's not, compared to modern movies, it's not that good, and it doesn't have the charm that like when we watched Babes in Toyland, there was a lot of things that were explained by that's just how shit was, in movies back then. But there was a lot of crazy shit that we were like, this is nuts. Like, I love it. There was none of that in this movie. So yeah, I'm going to recommend it, but I didn't really like it.
Okay, John.
Okay. Same deal here. I think it is important to see it as the progenitor of the superhero movie as we know it. But yeah, seeing it now as an adult, and I mean, even back last time I saw it, like I said, I was probably like 15. Mm-hmm. Even back then, I was like, that is dumb at the end when it's like, that would just destroy the planet right there. But other than the ending, I really don't have too many problems with it. If there was a way to fix that, I would. But overall, I still do recommend you see it at least once.
Okay. Brick.
So I was more unhappy to see Osmosis Jones than I was unhappy to see this movie. I acknowledge, like John and Joe had just said, like the historical value of this, but I can't recommend watching it. You should know that this is how the superhero movie started, but I don't feel like you need to watch it to appreciate that historical fact unless you're actually researching the history of it. So I can't recommend it unless you're doing the research.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how anybody else here feels, but I think Superman 2 probably a better.
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty universally a better movie.
Better thing to mess with. So this, like the majority of this, I was honestly bored.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Superman in this Superman movie. There's a lot of exposition, a lot of backstory that you don't really need.
It's an origin story to a character you already know the origin story.
Right, like everybody knows Superman.
The origin story is bad.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a lot of fluff. That said, I'm kind of in the same boat as John and Joe. It's like one of those things where, yeah, watch it one time, get to know how this whole thing started. I mean, it's probably still better than a lot of superhero movies they're pumping out now, but that ending is that's something else.
I think everyone should see that ending though, just once.
Oh yeah, just to witness it. Like,
it's not every day you get to see one of the stupidest things you'll ever see.
Well,
Well, unfortunately, you gotta also remember there's not a lot of people, or there are a lot of people out there that don't understand the laws of physics and might see that.
Honestly think if you
might see that and be like, oh yeah, he turned back time.
Force the planet to spin in reverse. Time would go backwards. Because all right, well maybe.
Ignorance is bliss.
All you
and there's
TikTok
a lot of
morons
blissful
out there.
people out there.
Flat earthers.
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh,
there's
what if you spin really fast around a flat Earth? What happens?
So
then?
that's where I was going. I was like, I hope there's somebody out there who uses this movie as evidence that flat earthers are wrong. Because look, he's flying around a globe.
All right, I can't deal with whatever Brick is saying. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Superman. What do we have next? Who rolled Superman?
Didn't-
I think I rolled this.
Yeah, I think it would be Tony's role.
All right, looks like it's gonna
So
be me then.
yeah, you're
All
up.
right, Brick, would you grab the
Don't
D20
you
of
roll
fate?
a fucking 20.
And it looks like
Or a one.
somebody accidentally deleted our list.
Whoa.
Oh,
Do we have something to actually...
I was able to restore it to a previous version.
Huh.
I'm not going to say whose name was on it as the last person that accessed it, Joe.
How would... I don't know how I would have done that.
I
but-
don't know what happened.
All right, we'll
I
discuss
legit
that after
don't
the
know.
podcast.
It's not a big deal. We were able to restore it. That doesn't count.
We'll have to, convene the Council of Krypton.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. D20 of
End
fate.
up in the cellophane diamond.
Maybe you guys should be hoping I don't roll a 1 or a 20.
Oh, no,
right now.
I straight up
We
said do
always
not do
do.
that.
That's a
13.
13. All right.
Ah.
Unlucky 13. Oh, shit.
All right, 13 is the OG 2007 Ghost Rider.
Oh,
Nicolas
I've
Cage.
never seen
Nick
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage. We've done the second one,
Yeah,
right?
the second one was...
It was fun.
I did have some fun. It's terrible,
The first
but I
one's
had
not fun.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. It's just bad. It's just bad. But it's got Nick Cage, so there's that, I guess. All right, well. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Do join us again for Ghost Rider, continuing the superhero movie.
Hopefully it's not
genre.
like Superhero Summer from a
Ugh.
couple years ago. It turned into Superhero Year.
Well, you know, eventually
There's
we'll
a
run
lot
out,
out
I
there.
guess. Yeah. Ugh. All right, join us next time. I gotta go to bed. Good night, all.
Anyone seem like the sun's a little closer right now?
Bye-bye.
No, it's just shifting its axis.
Oh, okay. Adios then.
You know who would have been a cool recast though? It's Gene Simmons instead of the other Gene.
What?
We're trying to end.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, and if possible, leave a review. If you have questions, comments, or would like to sponsor an episode, email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, you can buy a t-shirt, hoodie, and more at Teespring. Or gain access to exclusive content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/4ampodcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.